can rebut when she's finished. Jeff, I'm glad you're here. I'm just going to message you and see if you can.
Ukraine was once the third largest nuclear power in the U.S. behind Russia, in the world, behind Russia and the U.S.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay. But Ukraine agreed via the B.A.A.S.H memorandum to give up all of their nuclear weapons, and Russia was agreed with this at first. This was before Putin was in charge. To give up all of their nuclear weapons because they were kind of corrupt also, right?
Yeah.
In exchange for, and Ukraine said, well, since we're giving up all our nuclear weapons, the U.S. promised to protect.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with all of this.
No, but you said you didn't know, so how could you agree? You didn't even know about it.
No. The summary of what you just said is we are allies.
Listen,
we are allies with Ukraine.
No.
Please, you have to let her finish, and then you'll be able to respond.
The agreement is the reason why we're doing that is because we are keeping our promise to the people who were the third largest nuclear power in the world before the U.S. made them give up their nuclear weapons. We are keeping our promise. And actually, that is helping our economy. And let me tell you why. Because we are giving them our old weapons and we are making new ones. That is helping the economy. Because we're giving them our old weapons. And so now we have to put people to work to make new.
Are you done?
You can respond now.
Okay, cool. All you just explained is the same thing that I was saying. Ukraine, we will support them. However, whether Budapest, whatever agreement it is. Here's what I'm saying. There's a war between Ukraine and Russia right now. I don't see our government trying to broker peace. I never heard any conversation.
Guess what? That was our promise to them.
You're interrupting me now. It's my turn now.
Well, because you can't listen. You can't spew information.
You see what I'm saying?
It is
right
Russia.
Here
listen, it is
You're
Russia.
Not allowing me to talk.
It is Russia that broke their promise. So
you're
are
not allowing
keeping
me
ours.
Speak.
No, because you're saying stuff that's not correct. It is Russia that broke their promise.
I have a question. When did we start funding Ukraine?
Olukunle,
you are on mute.
Yeah.
I will make sure
I was muted.
If you are.
Yeah.
You asked me not to
that's
interrupt.
What I'm saying.
I kept quiet. She interrupted me. You didn't mute her.
Listen. You're right. You're right. I want everyone on the panel to make sure that we're allowing one another to speak. We'll be able to rebut and do all the things. We just have to do it with a large amount of decorum, especially in topics like this, because I don't want the live to get flagged for like stuff like that. And this is one of those topics that get really sensitive. So let's just keep it one at a time. Jeff, Olukule, did you hear Jeff's question?
He was asking when we started funding Ukraine.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly when, but I know it took us time before we started funding them. I would agree to that, but eventually we started funding the war.
Okay. But there was before Trump was in office. Was there any military action during Trump's presidency between Russia and Ukraine?
Between Russia and Ukraine, military action, none that I'm aware of.
Yes, the Russia invaded the Donbass region of Ukraine.
Oh.
They also dropped explodey things on ships by the Azores. What did Trump do in response to that? How did he broker peace?
At that time, we did not have necessarily invasions.
Yeah, it was an invasion. There was an army that went into a region of another country. That's an invasion.
Here's what I'm saying. right?
No, I asked a question. I was like, what did Trump do?
I don't know what he
to
did.
broker people? Okay, so what he did was he made what he called a perfect phone call, where he called the president of Ukraine to try to get Oppo research on the person who was running against him for president in exchange for money that was already allocated by Congress for Ukraine. So he said, the aid that we're supposed to send you, I'm not going to send it to you unless you give me information about Hunter Biden. And then he got impeached. That's what he did.
Wow. None of this statement you just made is substantiated. None of it. Because I've heard this narrative before. It's not substantiated by the Congress.
Listen. First of all, he did get impeached for it. That's number one. Second, he did
even the impeachment is not substantiated. We all know that.
First of all, he did get impeached for it. Second, he referred to it himself as a perfect phone call.
Yeah,
Third,
he said he made a phone call. We all saw the transcript. And
listen,
it's not what you're saying.
Snowflake, stop talking.
Why are you interrupting?
Okay, sorry, Jeff. I'm sorry.
What did he say on the phone call that you didn't know existed until 5 minutes ago?
What he said on the phone call is not what you're saying. We all saw the transcript.
I didn't ask what he didn't say. I said, what did he say on the phone call that you didn't know existed until 5 minutes ago?
I don't want to misquote. I don't want to misstate what's in that transcript. The way you summarized it is not what's in that transcript.
Okay, so what is in it?
What is online. Everybody else can Google it.
First off, I knew about the phone call. You didn't know about it until 5 minutes ago.
I didn't know that was where you were taking it to. I didn't know that was what you meant by,
what was in the phone call? If I'm wrong, presumably you know what was in the phone call.
And I'm telling you that it wasn't the bargain to save Ukraine from being encroached by Russia. There was no connection there, my bro. No connection. You just made that connection. Everybody else on this call, Google the transcript between Trump and Ukraine. The call, perfect call. Everybody can go read it. I'm not even trying to.
What was in it?
I'm not trying to be messy here. Everybody, take your time. Google the exact transcript.
No, we want you to tell us what was in it, right?
It's a lot. It's an entire transcript.
No.
You need details. I cannot be.
Okay, so since
he wasn't connected to the.
Since you want to be a snowflake and lie, I'll just read it. Good, because I heard. Stop talking. Good, because I heard you had a prosecutor. Stop talking.
Did you hear that?
Good. Yeah, I'm telling you to stop talking. I heard it because I said it. Good, because I heard you had a prosecutor who was very good and he was shut down, and that's really unfair. A lot of people are talking about that. The way they shut down your very good prosecutor down, and you had some very bad people involved. Mr. Giuliani is a highly respected man. He was the mayor of New York City, a great mayor, and I would like him to call you. I will ask him to call you along with the Attorney General. Rudy very much knows what's happening, and he is a very capable guy. If you could speak to him, that would be great. The former ambassador from the United States, the woman, was bad news, and the people she was dealing with in the Ukraine were bad news. So I just want to let you know that. The other thing, there's a lot of talk about Biden's son, that Biden stopped the prosecution, and a lot of people want to find out about that. So whatever you can do with the Attorney General would be great. Biden went around bragging that he stopped the prosecution. So if you can look into it, it sounds horrible to me. What does that sound like?
Olukune, you have to press your microphone and come back on. Olukune, are you with us?
See, you know what? I agree with what y'all are saying. I'm gonna leave this call. This seems like y'all's echo chamber. People keep
echo chamber. So I just read it to you.
Hold on. You keep
this is how weak you are.
You should be muted by now.
This is how weak
by now, but you're
and
not.
How much of a liar
they're not
you
muting
are.
You.
You're a weak liar.
But they're not muting you right now because you're interrupting me.
I don't care because
nobody's
you're weak
muting
and a
you
liar.
right now because you're interrupting me.
Because you're weak and a liar.
This is y'all's echo chamber. Enjoy. Enjoy.
Goodbye, Olukune. Have a great day, Olukune. Goodbye.
You know why he ran, Christina? Do you know why he ran? This is gonna be very crude. Do you know why he ran? Because when it's not flat, they can't reach. That's why he ran. That's why he ran. Right, Lords?
Exactly. But this is know anything about the Budapest Memorandum? He said no. Okay, so you don't even know why you don't even know why what is going on is going on. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know because mo- you don't. Most of the people that are just starting to vote, they weren't even born when the Budapest Memorandum was signed. They weren't even born when it happened. They don't even know why we're over there 30 years late.
Lorna. Oh, really? One second, Lorna. BLJ, you're back up on the panel. I didn't get a chance to qualify you before. I couldn't hear you, so I did put you back into the comment section. Are you over 21, a Christian or believer in the God of the Christian Bible, and are you voting in the upcoming, or have you voted, or are you voting in the general upcoming election?
Yes, yes, and yes.
Okay. Drake, can you come off mute for me? Hi.
Yeah, I just come up and I always mute out of respect.
No, that's fine. I prefer it. Are you over 21, Christian, believer in the God of the Christian Bible, and are you voting in the upcoming general election?
Yes, a Christian. Yes, a believer in the Christian Bible, and yes, voting for Trump.
And you're over 21?
What was that question?
Are you over 21? Drake, are you over 21?
Yes. Yeah. Can you hear me? I'm 40 years old. Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm trying to see who wants to who we want to engage with. BLJ, you were up here first.
I would.
So you want to engage with the topic, BLJ? Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm in full-time ministry. I'm a full-time graduate student, and I teach college courses in religion. I'm just prefacing all this just to give you a sense of who I am. And I voted for Harris. And so, I start with the biggest thing is the last time I voted was 2008. And the reason I haven't voted the last two elections was out of protest, essentially, that we're putting forth candidates who I didn't think were very good. And Trump simply doesn't, it's a matter of character. And we can sit and say that we'll look at policies and look at those things, and I think that's bullshit. So when people say I'm not voting for a pastor, I'm not voting for at least vote for a good person. And there's a point where when we ask the question of what it means to follow Jesus, is Trump isn't just it's not just that Trump doesn't reflect those things. It's that Trump is antithetical of what it means to follow Jesus. And Jesus repeatedly, over and over again in the Gospels, calls his followers to put themselves in a position of service and self-sacrifice. And when we look at Jesus's temptation in Matthew and Luke, the temptation of being given the kingdoms from Satan is not because it's something that isn't God's or Satan has power over those kingdoms or whatever, not in the God has sovereignty sort of way, but it's to take possession of creation without or to exert his kingship over creation without going to the cross. And that is completely antithetical to what we see from Trump and those who support him, say in Congress and in the Senate, who refuse to point out when he is lying and when he is just simply being despicable. And so the idea that we come back to that that Trump is somehow more Christian or whatever is completely backwards. And so if, my message when I can't preach about this because of the Johnson Amendment, but, if we're going to look at the idea of politicians and just say it's about policy, character informs policy. And if we're going to ignore character, then we're doing it wrong.
Anyone else on the panel want to engage with BLJ?
I would like to ask BLJ, thank you for sharing your perspective. I appreciate it. I would like to know how, if you do at all, how you engage with your fellow believers who overlook that piece and the points that you brought out. Because I agree that oftentimes when we talk to believers, one of the things that I've noticed is that they tend to gravitate towards the parts of the book and the characteristics of the God that align with them. So when you have conversations with other Christians who are more evangelical or part of the MAGA cult that seems to be forming now, and how it even got Christianity mixed up into it, I have no idea, because if Trump has read 2 scriptures in the Bible, then I probably wrote the whole thing. So how do you have these conversations, and what seems to be successful in your experience?
Yeah. So first, I wish I could have joined when Sebastian was talking, because, the idea of loving your neighbor is generally viewed in the first century when Jesus is sharing it. There are 2 options. One is to love your Israelite neighbor. That's what we see from the lawyer in the parable of the Good Samaritan, right? Is there's a narrow vision, but there's also an expansive vision that includes everyone. That's or not even everyone, but includes people beyond Israel. And so Jesus takes that beyond, takes that even further beyond. And so my vision of the way that I have conversation is, even though I find, like my entire family is deep in the MAGA conspiratorial mess, and but I still have conversations with them, not about politics, but I still love them. And so this is where, from my own perspective, to start those conversations requires that in the parable of the Good Samaritan, Jesus is saying, if your love for neighbor does not extend to those who are most different or who you might despise the most, you're not doing it right. And so this means that I have to sit down with people who I know I'm going to disagree with, and attentively listen. And it begins by when we start to have these conversations about policy and character and all of that, is I do my best to really hear those concerns, and then ask, so what do we do with these things that we come across, and how do they reflect on what it means to follow Jesus? Because the point, if we're going to call ourselves Christians, then the question is, how well do we reflect the discipleship that we're called to? And so this is a matter of, what does this look like in everyday life? It's not a matter of what are your political policies, what are your and so yes, those should be informed by your Christian faith, but our allegiance is to Jesus first. And so if we're going to say that our decisions reflect that, then we need to start reflecting on, what does it mean to vote for Trump or Harris? And so when, I don't start with the, Trump lied 30,000 times in his first presidency. Even just in the Joe Rogan podcast the other day, he lied 136 times in 3 hours. That is prodigious levels of lying. But that's the point, right? And so if we're going to engage at the point of policy, if we can't trust the person who's claiming the policy, how can we trust? And so that comes from a perspective of, if our allegiance is with Jesus, how do we walk through these character issues that we come into, which are for Trump an everyday occurrence? And that's where I work through, is that it has to be this slow process that meets in this mixture of what is reality, but also what people are are feeling. And I say that intentionally because the reality is truth. Oftentimes we've been told is you put together facts and then you come to a conclusion, and that's truth. But that's not how people honestly come to truth. People are more feeling beings than they are thinking things. And so when you tell someone, this is the reality, and they push back with something that has nothing to do with the topic, it's because they can't process the emotions that come with being pushed back upon. And so that's why they retreat. And so this is where creating a space that is hospitable, which is also Christian, and being able to slowly work through the topic at hand, but starting from discipleship, starting from what it means to follow Jesus, and working through it that way, instead of starting with Trump. And I think that's a key part of what this conversation needs. Is if you're going to claim allegiance to Christ, then it can't be to Trump as well. And so if we're gonna, you can't serve two masters. And so working from that, if we start with the conversation moving towards politics, if it's clear that that's the case and set from the beginning, but we say, okay, so what does it mean to follow Jesus? And we start from that, then we can start to branch out and see what it doesn't look like when we start to engage conversations about politicians. Because while I voted for Harris, I would never vote for Trump, ever. From day one, I said that. And I grew up in an ultra-conservative household who believed, my parents still believe Barack Obama was not born in the United States. And so I contend with that and work within that, but I'm also clear that that's false. And I work from in the sense of saying this is reality and we have to share that at some level, but that reality has to reflect who Jesus calls us to be. And if it doesn't, we have to reject it. And so from there, we can say, well, Harris isn't perfect either. Well, yeah, that's the point. And that's why democracy means that we say we want our elected officials to do what's best for us. And so that doesn't mean I won't criticize Kamala Harris if she's elected. I will. But that's the point. And that comes from within my Christian convictions as well. And so I think the question of what it means to follow Jesus gets lost in this rigmarole, because it's a daily process that gets ignored.
Thank you for that, BLJ. I appreciate you. Does someone else on the panel want to chime in regards to?
I was curious about the whole counting how many times Trump lied. That seems a little obsessive, but just so an honest question. So Kamala Harris doesn't lie?
I'm not saying she doesn't. But that's whataboutism.
You just don't keep track of her lies, but you keep track of Trump's.
I don't keep track of Trump's. That was by people who do fact checking. That was the number. 30,000+ lies in 4 years.
And you're certain of that number? Or they are?
I'm willing to accept that that those who do professional fact checking have done it correctly.
Okay, I mean, that's all I was curious about. I just didn't know if you were just, because it seemed to me like you were trying to be like, well, Trump's a liar, but
Right.
Kamala Harris never lies.
Can I ask you a question? Have you kept up with Vice President Harris's lies?
What was that?
Have you kept up with her lies?
I mean, I can say a lot of her lies. I mean, we'll start with one. We'll start with one. So she on the news a lot was saying that Biden's mental health was not in a state of decline a bunch of times. Those were all lies.
How is that a lie?
I mean, she is the presidential candidate right now, correct?
Yeah.
So why is he no longer the presidential candidate?
Because he was polling badly and the party got scared.
Oh, so it had nothing to do with his mental decline?
Do you have evidence of mental decline?
And also, it says voting Christians only. Why are you up here? You're not a Christian.
Sir, that you're not answering the question.
Who said
And
I'm
if
not
you
a
don't-
Christian?
Wait a minute, Jeff. You're not answering the question. Why are you talking about why Jeff is up here? Can you, since you have you take issue with somebody keeping track of Trump's lies, I'm assuming you've kept track of Kamala Harris's lies. Can you give us a list of those lies?
Yeah, well, I just gave you one. That was just one.
Yeah, but
No,
it wasn't
just
a
give
lie.
us a list of them, and it wasn't a lie. So just give us a list of them. Can you pull at least 130 lies?
I would have to research enough of her lies to find them.
Oh, okay.
There's another one. She worked
but-
at McDonald's. Allegedly, she worked at McDonald's, and they researched that. She never worked at McDonald's. That was a
Who
lie.
researched
That's not
that?
what they found.
Wait a minute. Can I ask you a question? Who researched it?
Okay.
How do you research where somebody worked 40 years ago? Can you tell me?
Oh, it's pretty easy. You can just look into their background.
Could you find out where I was at 40 years ago?
I mean, I personally couldn't, but I'm sure an investigator probably could find out exactly every place you worked.
No,
they couldn't? Oh, okay.
They couldn't. No.
Okay.
I'll-
I guess you're
I'm
right.
gonna tell you.
Because
I guess
let
you
me
lied
tell you
too.
something. Wait a minute, Drake. Let me tell you something. The IRS doesn't keep your tax returns past 10 years. After 10 years, they send them to NARA, right? The Social Security Administration keeps your W-2s to calculate your Social Security amount. But the Social Security Administration, that wouldn't be public information, right? So an investigator would have to have a good reason and probably a clearance, right, to go back that far. And they wouldn't be able to get the information from the Social Security Administration or the IRS. You check the IRS. So it tells you, the taxpayer, that we need to be able to get your records from 10 years back. After that, you're out of luck. Your employer only has to keep your record for, I think, between 3 and 7 years. So can you tell me how someone found out that she doesn't work at McDonald's 40 years ago?
So
Because when you're given no, go ahead. When you're given an opportunity to take up the office of President of the United States, they can find everything. Just letting you know, they can find every single thing.
No, they can't.
Oh, they can't? Okay. So she might have murdered. She might have unalived somebody, and they couldn't find that because they can't find stuff like that.
If they could, they would find those bogus ass tax returns of Trump.
This is really simple, Drake. Just produce the proof that she didn't work at McDonald's.
So I mean, this is part of the. This is
really quick. Give me 1 second, okay? Fee wanted to chime in really quick. Go ahead, Fee.
Yeah, I think in these conversations, one of the things that becomes really evident is it oftentimes turns into a BLJ was saying, like, what about this person? What about that person? You don't necessarily, and this is not the case for everyone, but you don't necessarily see the type of allegiance to an individual on the one side as you do on the other. So when it comes to Vice President Harris, her getting my vote is not about me thinking that she is the chosen one, because again, I'm not religious, so I don't believe there is a chosen one. So I don't know if there's this through line of needing someone to be the Messiah that's becoming very evident in the way that Trump supporters are gravitating towards him. And those of us who are outside looking in, those of us who have been in cults before, myself included because my hand is raised, we see the markers. We see the fact that whenever there's any sort of criticism, the content of the criticism is completely dismissed and the fingers are pointed at the other person when that's completely irrelevant. So I would encourage us, as we have this conversation, to think about how we're engaging. Think about the retorts that we're making. Think about the responses that we're giving. When B.A.A.S.H was up here speaking to Carolina, Christina read that whole scripture about the abortion that God decreed or gave Moses instructions on how to do, and she gave zero response to that content whatsoever. So if we could figure out how to have this conversation and have it about the issues and not the people, or the actual issues with the people, as opposed to pointing fingers, we actually might get somewhere.
Okay, so I mean, I'll play devil's advocate. Kamala Harris has never lied. I'll agree with you on that. Okay, and regardless, I mean, as far as Trump,
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you guys. You guys are saying she's never lied, so that's fine, and I'm okay with that. She's
hold
never
on,
lied
but
in her entire life.
Hang on, Drake.
No. I'm saying we'll pretend that. We can pretend that. I'm okay to pretend that.
Hold on, hang on, Lawrence.
Nobody ever said that.
But Drake, even by pretending that means you didn't hear anything that I just said. Because this is not about Kamala's innocence. This is not about her being above reproach. I literally just said that. It's about the issues that we're talking about. It's not about her. So for the first thing that come out of your mouth is, okay, yeah, I'll pretend that she's never told a lie. Nobody on this panel has said that. And I literally just said that that's not the position that we hold, or that's definitely not the position that I hold.
How's it not the position that you hold if you're asking me to give a list of her lies? That's pretending she's never lied. You wouldn't need a list of lies if you think she has lied. Then why would I need to bring a list? Hold on. Why would I have to bring a list? Or just talk over me. That's
No. First of all, stop yelling. What is wrong with you? Are you okay?
Like,
Yelling. Why are you yelling?
This is not like this is not an attack. Just calm down. Like we can have a civil conversation and
listen, this is the thing. Vote for who the fuck you want. He's gonna lose anyway. We don't care. But what you're gonna do is calm your ass down.
Lords, can I try something with you? Lords, can I try something with you real quick?
Yes, sir.
I want to show how much of a better mind reader I am than Drake.
Mm-hmm.
Watch this. You asked for a list of Kamala's lies to show that she lies less than Trump does.
Yes.
See? I'm a great mind reader, much better than anybody else on the panel, because I'm
everybody lies. Everybody lies. Even your God lied. There are places, at least 3 places I can show you in the Bible where your God lied. He sends spirits of lies to deceive people. So everybody lies. I'm not talking to you. Do not interrupt me. Everybody lies. Kamala Harris lies. Donald Trump lies. Joe Biden lies. Obama
you said
lies.
your God.
Even your God lies. I'm not talking to you. When I say your God, I mean the God. Even the God lies. He says in the Bible that he will send spirits to deceive people. It's his plan. Who cares? Even he lied. So nobody said that she didn't lie. I'm just asking, show us a lie.
So that's three. So that's 3 people in this panel that aren't Christians that are up there.
So before we continue on with that,
can we make this really clear? First, the host, myself, and all the co-hosts are not Christian. We are asking to speak to Christians about voting.
There are currently 3 Christians on the panel, Drake.
So
outside of that, I need y'all to keep tapping the screen. We have been on for over 2.5 hours, and to not be at over 100K with over 300 people in here is a literal crime. I will turn off comments if they don't start getting up and stay consistent. I give y'all warnings. You know I keep my promises if you're regulars in here. Thank you.
So this is indicative of what the disinformation and misinformation campaign that's being pushed in our culture, right? We're sitting here arguing about whether or not Kamala Harris worked at McDonald's. And that is, okay, the fact that is even something that becomes a conversation piece is silly. And the fact that we have to, that Trump is willing to continue to push. She didn't work at McDonald's. She didn't work at McDonald's. It's no different than lying about the 2020 election, right? The lie is the point. And so misinformation and disinformation are 2 different things. Disinformation is what
he didn't actually technically lie about the 2020 election.
Drake. One of the rules, one second, B.A.A.S.H, I just want to make sure that we're clear. Yeah. When you're on the panel, the way this works is if someone is speaking, you're not. Okay? So if you have a thought about something that he says that you want to rebut, you're more than welcome to do
I just wanted to chime in quick.
I understand. Chiming in and speaking over someone, and that's not tolerated here on the panel. So please just wait for B.A.A.H to finish, and then you can rebut him. Okay? Go ahead.
Okay.
So this is where we start to see things like this. I mean, this has been on display, especially if we just go back, the past 6 weeks, 8 weeks or so, lying about Haitians eating people's pets, and then the FEMA response to Hurricane Milton and Hurricane Helene. And the fact is that there are people who are being harmed in real time because of this. And so it doesn't matter if, like, we're talking about the issues here. The attempt from his campaign to make disinformation the focus of obtaining the presidency is hurting people in real time. And if somehow that becomes a point where we say, yes, as a Christian, I can vote for that, that to me is so deeply problematic and deeply antithetical to what it means to follow Jesus, that it overwhelms the sense of Christian, of any sense of Christian witness that we can share in the world. And so if love in this case is not about just full and utter tolerance of whatever and anything. Love is about expecting that we can honor the dignity of people created in the image of God, and recognize that I don't care who whether or not someone who's been affected by a hurricane is red or blue or green or whatever as far as their political association, and that we can tell the truth and work together across the aisle. But Donald Trump decides over and over again that he doesn't want to do that. And so he shares lies for political gain. That is the opposite of what it means to let go of power, to show the humility of the God who enters into creation in human form. And so if we're going to claim we're Christians, then character, there is no other starting point for voting. And so, yes, fine, Kamala Harris is not perfect. I'm not saying the candidates need to be perfect, but Donald Trump in no way reflects or demonstrates Christ in his way of life, in his campaigning. And the lies and the disinformation is utterly clear that he does not give two shits about other human beings, Americans. And if we can't recognize that, then our allegiance has shifted from from Jesus as Christians to Donald Trump.
Thank you so much.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, Lorna.
Okay. I have to go. I'm not gonna be long. I'm a Christian. I'm Haitian. In my culture, if you got divorced and remarried, there are some churches they will not allow you to set foot on their pulpit. And I'm divorced. I'm remarried. I used to be a worship leader. I can't do that anymore. I still do it, but I had to put it on pause. And when I look at my people, the way Donald Trump talked about us, the way he talks about religion, the way he treats people, and my people, some of them supporting him because they say he's doing the Lord's business. Number one, Jesus loves absolutely everyone. When I look at Mr. Trump, I do not see one thing that shows Jesus. I am a disciple of Jesus. But that doesn't mean I have to shove my beliefs into everybody. My people, again, I'm going to talk what I know. My people, again, the worst sin is adultery, abortion, and gay. But the thing about it is, if somebody is in pain, I've seen so many stories of women dying, so many stories of women almost unalive because of that ban, or that damn thing they doing, the ban or whatever, the abortion ban. You cannot tell me to vote for someone who has the most flawed human being on the planet. He does not respect even God. I'm divorced. Yes. He got married. He cheated on his first wife with the second one. He married the second one. Then cheated on the second one with the third wife. Then cheated on the third wife with multiple women. He said it himself. Plus, we have proof. Stephen Daniel. This is a felon. When we're talking about Jesus, when we talk about Jesus and we put Trump in the same sentence, that's offensive. That is offensive because there is nothing. Donald Trump doesn't show any remorse about anything. How can you tell me that's a Christian? If I have one daughter, only one daughter. I have 3 young men, but one daughter. If I have to make the choice, if she get pregnant, I have to make the choice to choose her life and the life of the unborn child. I can promise you, as a Christian, I was born in a Christian family, raised a Christian, and still a Christian. I will choose my daughter. I will choose my daughter because I don't think that as Christian, I'm supposed to shove my beliefs into everybody. Jesus met the lady at the well. He talked to her. He flirted with her in a way, not flirt because he wanted her, but he flirted with her to make sure that she understands. The God that I serve, I don't see any Republican showing anything Jesus. So if someone voting, you say you're voting because of your beliefs, that's a lie. That's a bold-faced lie. We vote because we vote for what we believe. Most people voted Trump, is voting Trump because Trump expressed what they cannot express themselves. They voting Trump because Trump speaks for them. They have the same beliefs as him. But please do not say you guys are voting because you got voting Trump because he's a Christian. Number one, the guy put his name on the Bible. Who does that? The guy is the most prideful human being. He's a cheater. He's a felon. He's a liar. He's a thief. He's not even a good businessman. So why are we having this debate that Donald Trump is a Christian? To me, I don't know if I can say, I'm not gonna say what I want to say because I don't want them to flag the live. Mm-hmm. But you cannot take a man who's violate women and saying that man is a godly man. He's not. Please, when you're voting, vote because you want to vote for Donald Trump, but keep Jesus out of it.
Was King David a godly man, would you say?
What is it?
King David. Would you say that King David was a godly man?
Because he repented? Because he acknowledged
but
his
I'm
mistakes?
asking, it's a question. Would you say he's a godly man, yes or no?
Sir, are you? I don't know how many times I got to tell you to stop yelling. Maybe you need to get you some Bluetooth. Maybe do you have headphones? Maybe you should put them on.
David sinned against the Lord, and he recognized that he sinned. He went to the same God.
That's probably why it sounds so loud, like I'm yelling.
Begged him for forgiveness, and he was forgiven. They asked Donald Trump, and I saw an interview Donald Trump was talking. They asked Donald Trump, have you ever asked for forgiveness? He said, well, I don't see why. I'm never making a mistake. He said no. So how can you, a Christian, come on this live, spewing lie about Donald Trump, saying that you can compare Donald Trump to anyone. Anyone. I make so many mistakes. The little mistake that I made compared to Donald Trump, the man doesn't care about you, even you. He said if he was running for president, he would run for, as a Republican candidate because he know you guys swallow everything. You guys don't care. You will swallow everything he has to say. That's why and one other thing, Donald Trump is running for president, not because he care about you. Number one, he's trying to stay away from jail. He's trying to stay away from prison. And also he's trying to make enough money to cover all the debts that he owes. Don't forget he owed a lot of money.
Did King David unalive someone?
King David. I'm not going back to King David because King David is not on the ballot. Donald Trump is.
Okay, good point.
Donald
Fair
Trump
enough.
is on the ballot. We're not going to be. I see someone from Texas. Look
Do
at
you
Texas.
think King David was moral or not, though? It's just a simple question.
He repented. He repented. There's something called you sin.
Okay,
Say,
do you
God
know if
forgive
Donald
me. I
Trump
have
repented or not?
Well,
No, he's not.
Said that he's never asked for
He's
forgiveness.
not.
Has Donald
He's
Trump
not,
ever
because
unalived someone?
We don't know. Do you know?
But we do know King David unalived people, correct?
But again, Drake,
But we're not talking
hold on
about
one second,
King
guys.
David.
To her point, King David is not on the ballot, okay? And King David, according to y'all text, he was a man after God's own heart. I mean, I have my own opinion about this whole thing. I'm just letting y'all have the conversation. But at the same time, while he may not have directly unalived anyone, he has essayed women, and he has been harmful. He has put abortion bans in place that have caused women to unalive. So what what is your point?
I've seen that.
I'm just pointing out that King David himself also unalived people, committed adultery.
On the ballot.
He sinned himself. He committed many
vote
sins.
for
I'm not
him.
voting for King David.
So don't vote for him.
Okay, no. What, I'm not saying I'm going to vote for King David. What I'm saying is because she's relating the Bible to Trump, saying you cannot vote for Trump if you are a true Christian. Even though we all hail King David as one of the greatest kings. Yes, you can actually. Yeah, you can.
Because believe me, as a Christian, Jesus showed me love. He showed me unmerited love. I have not seen one person from the day that I set my eyes on this man called Donald Trump. Not one person say he's a good person. Not one.
That's because you don't listen to the people. You listen to the other side. So you're not listening to anybody that says he's a good man.
First of all, Drake, if you interrupt her again, you're gonna get dropped.
I know, because you guys can interrupt me all you want, but I can't interrupt.
No, we're the host. We're hosts, and let me tell you something. You know what you need to do? You need to show some of that Christian spirit that you guys claim to have but never show because
it's
you're
the
angry
fact that
birds.
you guys get to talk for a half hour. The minute I say one sentence, I get interrupted.
Because you're angry birds. You don't show that Christian spirit because you motherfuckers are angry birds.
I'm not angry.
You are. And why you yelling? You're angry birds. And that's the
like
problem.
I said, I'm not yelling.
Right.
I think it's my headset.
Okay.
My headset makes my voice very loud.
Okay. You should ask God for some better headsets for Christmas.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask my wife for a better headset. This one's pretty good, but she even says I'm really loud sometimes.
It's actually terrible. It has static in it. Those are some terrible headsets. You need to get some better ones.
All MAGAs, every MAGAs has the same view. They don't do research. They listen to Fox. They repeat Donald Trump lies over and over and over. Kamala is not the best, but then I love her. Because when her country called on her, she showed up. She showed up. She turned America into a beautiful thing. What I've seen going on, I do believe she is going to win. Did you see what happened yesterday? Do you remember February 20th, 1939? Do you remember what happened on Madison?
Yes, they had a Yahtzee rally.
Neo-Nazi.
Yes,
exactly.
A rally in Madison Square Garden in 1939,
yes.
85 years ago. Right?
Yes, 22 plus thousand of them. Do you think it's a coincidence? He has that thing yesterday.
85. But this is the thing. This is the thing. People are talking about King David and all the stuff. Can we talk about the fact that 22,000 people, right, were laughing at someone calling Puerto Rico, which is part of the United States, a trash island? Can we talk about the fact that 22,000 people were laughing at the fact that he was making fun of Latinos. Oh, they have babies. They just push babies out like they push themselves into this country. Can we talk about the fact that a day
Yes.
after, right, he said he got Muslims, right? He was talking about banning Muslims. Can we
But he
talk
did
about that?
ban them. Remember when he first started the
But wait,
2020?
Lorna, this is the thing. Can we talk about Trump? Can we talk about the fact that all of that happened and not one person still can tell me a policy of his, a thing of his? Nobody can tell me anything like that. All they can tell me is about, can someone tell me why they're voting for Trump without mentioning Harris? Can someone tell me why they're voting for Trump without mentioning Harris? Can someone tell me? Can a Trump
They
voter
can't.
tell me why they're voting for Trump without mentioning Harris?
I'm gonna let you guys respond in there. I do want to cycle out. We have the queue is growing a bit, so I want to make sure we get as many people up here as possible.
Yeah, I appreciate Lotissa's question, and I want to. I know we're going a little bit back here, but I'll duck out after this. So this conversation about this pointing to biblical characters, right? Oftentimes in our present time, we read the Bible through this lens that it inherently needs to be defended, and so it doesn't. And I preach from the Bible 40 Sundays out of the year. I teach 26 Sundays out of the year out of the Bible. And this idea that the Bible is some sort of fortress for or like hermetically sealed off space where what we know, our experience, and how we understand ethics and what's good and what's evil, all of those things. The Bible shouldn't be read as unilaterally or univocally good. When we encounter these characters within Scripture, when they are doing things that are evil, we should call it that.
Amen.
And this is where when you talk about something along the lines of things like Rachel and Isaac, or whatever Leah, whatever Isaac's wife, she deceives Isaac, right, for Jacob. And some people will say, well, that was God was doing that to make. No, God wasn't doing that. She made a choice to deceive her husband because she favored Jacob. We can call that what it is and call that not good. The same with Abraham, right? That Abraham does things that are not good. And the point of the Bible is not to come to it and see everything as ethically good because we claim it comes from God. That's not the point. But that's what oftentimes we do in our what are biblicist traditions. And we see from the Reformation this idea of sola scriptura. It makes this sense that the Bible is impenetrable from our own experience, the things that we know about the world. And that's not true. That's not what Scripture is meant to be. That puts Scripture in the place of God. Scripture is not God. And so when we start from this perspective that was David a man after God's own heart? Sure, Scripture says that, but that doesn't mean we should say that David somehow is better than Jesus, or that somehow David should be an example of a life we should aspire to, in the sense that, right, he sees someone bathing on a rooftop, and he essays her, right? And so we look at this, we look at that, and evangelicals for years have said, well, why was she up there to begin with? And they start to victim shame her and blame her for something she had no power to do. Women in that time are not considered people. They don't have agency. They can't make those decisions. And so which is something we should say, wow, we should reflect on the fact that David abuses his power, and we should be willing to call that what it is, which is evil. And so yes, he repents. That doesn't undo what he did. Does it make him, does it do something with his relationship with God? Yes. But we see the destruction that comes out of that for Israel. We see Israel continuing to go down, it continues to go downhill from there. And so all of the things that we see as being within Scripture, those evil things, those bad things that they do have consequences, have ripple effects. And so if we're going to look at Scripture and say, oh yeah, well maybe Trump's like Cyrus, maybe God's calling Trump. God is not calling Trump. Like, for the love of everything, stop it. And so this is where when we look at Scripture, it's telling us a story about God trying to have a relationship with creation and the various actors within that story.
Nobody is saying that God called Trump, by the way.
Yeah, there are. Look up Lance Wallnau and his millions of followers. Yes, they are.
Sorry.
So
he got dropped because I asked him to stop interrupting, and he couldn't seem to exhibit any self-control. And at our big age, we should be able for other people to stop talking before we do. There you go.
And so
go ahead and finish your thought, BLJ, and I'm gonna Michael out the guest. Go ahead.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Not a problem. Thank you so much. Lorna, did you have anything else you wanted to say before I cycled you out?
Yes. One thing that I want to say, when you guys are voting, you got daughters, for the people that's on the live. I'm sure all of us, we have nieces, sisters, aunts, moms, sister-in-law. We have all of that. Imagine Michelle Obama did a speech. I was crying because I'm thinking of my daughter. What if I'm in Florida, DeSantis, Florida. Imagine something like this were to happen to my daughter. I don't know how I would be able to handle it. I'm a Christian, but I'm pretty sure God would understand. I'm not trying to make excuses for me as a Christian, but my love for people doesn't have to tell me, I don't have to love you because, I don't have to hate you because you're gay, straight. I know Jesus enough to understand I can give you your own choice. You have to make the decision for yourself because there are two choices, good and bad. We each have to choose what we want. Me, if I'm choosing to save my daughter, I can guarantee you I'm saving my daughter or my nieces. And one more thing I want to say. For the people that keep saying the vice president was in power the past 3.5 years, she hasn't done anything. Get this, she has no power. She only can break the ties in the Senate. She cannot do more. She can do little things. She can shoot a couple of plans, but she is not the president yet. And 2025, we can get back to this. 2026, we can get back to this if she hasn't done anything. But for now, we're going to keep voting Kamala. I'm inviting every Christian on the live, vote blue from top to bottom, and send them Republican back home. Thank you, Miss Christina.
You want to take care of yourself. Thank you for coming up. I appreciate you. Make sure you're tapping that screen, sharing the live out to your friends, your family, your foes, all of them. Thank you guys so much for 115K likes. I appreciate you. Jeff.
Isn't that crazy?
Jeff just shared something with me, and this is the comedian from the rally, right?
This is the comedian from the rally. And let me,
anyone want to go halfsies on a slave?
But this is the thing, and I'm gonna say this, and I know a lot of people don't like to say it, and they don't like to hear it. But in 2024, I don't care if you, like my daddy used to say, I don't care if you black, white, blue, green, indigo, or violet. In 2024, if you are voting for Trump, you are racist. That's it. That's it, and that's all.
It gets better.
So, I'm gonna read this, and then I'll read it. This is the same comedian, right, that Trump had at his rally. Another tweet that says, I bet the best part of having an R-word child is not having to buy it Christmas gifts. So for all of you that I see people in the comments like, it wasn't Trump, it was a comedian, you guys can't take a joke. You surround yourself with people who agree with you. You're not going to have mute up for me. You're not going to have someone who disagrees with you come and entertain the crowd at your rally. It speaks to this man's his view, his stand, and he's overtly telling you that he don't give a fuck about you. He does not care. Okay. So for those in the comments that are just like, y'all are doing too much, this is like, chill out, and like your slip is showing, as my mom would say. Your slip is showing. Okay, everybody just relax. Let me go ahead and get one more person up here in the box, and then I will.
Can I talk?
Give me 1 second. I gotta qualify you first, love. Drake, I dropped you because you couldn't stop talking over people. You're not coming back up on this panel. All right. How do you say your name, sweetheart?
Lahabo Care.
Say it again.
Lahabo Care.
Lahabo Care?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you over the age of 21?
Yes, I am.
Are you a Christian, believer in the God of the Christian Bible? And
I'm a Christian.
Say it again.
I'm a Christian.
Have you voted, or are you voting in the upcoming general election?
I can't vote. I'm a green card holder.
Okay.
Okay. I have
Give
friends.
me 1 second. I do want to qualify. I am going to put you
down because she can't vote. She's a green card holder.
It's kind of this wouldn't be a productive conversation to have with you. Feel free to comment in the comment section, but I do want to get someone up. I do want to talk to voters.
That is fine. Okay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you though for coming up.
Thank you.
Christina V, are you over the age of 21, a Christian, believer in the God of the Christian Bible, and have you or are you voting in the upcoming general election?
Yes to all. I have not voted yet, but I am voting for Kamala.
Okay. Give me
Kamala. I was Kamala. Sorry.
Give me one moment. Andy, are you there?
I'm here.
Same questions, love. Are you over the age of 21, a Christian, believer in the God of the Christian Bible, and have you or are you voting in the upcoming general election?
Yeah, I'm voting for Trump, over 21. Not a Christian, but believer in God, though.
Do you follow the teaching? Do you believe in the God of the Christian Bible?
Yeah, I believe in God.
Okay. All right. I guess we can continue. You guys have been in the chat for a little bit, or you've been in the request for a little while. You guys want to go ahead and engage? Feel free to. Andy, you can go.
I watched well, somebody said that if I vote for Trump, I'm racist.
Yeah, not somebody. I did.
Okay, you said that. So I'm even cam up.
No,
don't turn your camera on.
Don't turn your camera on.
You're black,
okay,
but don't turn your camera on. Yeah.
No, I'm more like brown, but I'm a racist.
Okay. Yeah.
If I vote for Trump, I'm a racist.
Yes.
Now, by that argument, right?
We.
Okay, that's fine. And but you're welcome to that. But watch this though. By that same argument, I'm a racist. Death, voting for death and destruction.
Okay, you can say that. That doesn't make that has no problem. I don't have a problem with that.
But you guys were talking about the comedian who walked out who was also Jewish.
Hold on, can you do me a favor?
What
And
does that have to do with anything?
TOS, please watch the words that you use. I don't want to get the live flagged or taken down.
Is gay one of those words?
Will you say it again?
Is that one of those words? I don't know the
Yes.
Yes, it
what
is.
do you use for those people?
We
Happy.
got your point. So just
Happy.
go ahead and
We got your
continue.
point. So what is your point?
So who walked out to a rap song, by the way.
Is your point that because a happy Jewish comedian that likes rap can't be racist? Is that your point?
No, watch this. That's not my point. If you let me speak my point, then
Okay.
you'll know exactly and unequivocally what my point is. You ready for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
So comedians historically are above. They are the ones who
comedians aren't above anything. That's what y'all think because y'all like motherfuckers like Chris Rock and shit to talk about y'all. Comedians aren't above shit. That's what you think.
Wait a minute.
They're not above anything. That's why that's why Will Smith slapped the piss out of Chris Rock at the Oscars because we just found out that they're not above anything. You're about to say they're above criticism because they can make a joke, whatever jokes they. They're make whatever jokes they want because they're comedians. But we see that Chris Rock ain't said shit since he got the piss slapped out of him.
Christian
the
woman.
Oscars.
Christian woman. I'm
not a Christian. I'm not a Christian. Who told you that?
Well, my assumption over here says voting Christians only.
Sir, assume make an ass out of you and me. I'm not a Christian.
But
So
ma'am,
I'm going to go back to the beginning where we clarified that the co-hosts and me as the mod on the panel are not Christians. We are requesting Christians to come up and discuss with us voting as a Christian.
Okay, well, Miss Liz is Lorticia's decorum acceptable here? Sure. Also?
This is tame for her, yes.
Sir, you're a really slow speaker. Can you just speed it up?
Oh, no. No, I speak how I speak. So, as I was saying, the comedian didn't do anything wrong. He even joked. Hold on.
Are you gonna talk?
He's muted.
Somebody muted me. I guess this is a real dictatorship here.
Oh my God!
Yeah. Everybody mute up.
For
me 1 second. I want to say something to Andy. Really
this is wild right here.
Are you good?
I'm very good.
Okay. I just want to make sure because I stepped away for a moment and I came back and it sounded like you was trying to take over my live. And this is my live. So I'm going to interject whenever the fuck I feel like it. And you keep saying that the comedian didn't do anything wrong. Was he talking to you when he referred to the black man in the audience and said that he was cutting up watermelon with him the other night?
By the way, a queen is necessarily
You're alive.
A queen is necessarily a dictator.
I sure the fuck am.
And guess what? And before the black man came on stage, they played "I Wish I Wasn't Dixie." Hooray, hooray! They don't like you, Negroes. They don't like you, Negroes.
Like, yeah, you're gonna come on here, that's fine. You have an opinion, that's fine. People don't agree with it, that's fine too. I'm gonna need you to put your big boy pants on to be able to conduct yourself in a way that is becoming of an adult. Is that okay, Andy? Can we continue in the conversation now?
Of course it is. Ask other people to do the same.
I don't need you. Don't tell me how to run this live. I asked you something and you agreed to it. So let's continue on. What were you saying?
If I'm able to finish, I'll continue. So the comedian even joked about that man getting shot.
Can you say you gotta use TikTok? Is this your first time on a panel?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
All right, just double checking. I understand. I'm extending grace for that. So there are certain things that you just cannot say because TikTok will flag it and it'll get the live taken down. So things that refer to same sex and like violence of any kind, they'll flag it and take it down. So just be mindful of that. And if you don't know if what you're about to say, I know Rhea. If you don't know if what you're about to say is against TikTok TOS, please just
check it at the door when I do it. Yeah. So and even looking at your comment section,
Don't look at when you're on the panel too. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell y'all the rule. Don't read the comments when you're on the panel.
Well, maybe you guys can answer that here because I've heard it a lot. It says if I vote for Trump, I'm voting against my best interest. Now, I want to know who determines my best interest other than myself.
So can I speak?
You want to respond? Go ahead.
Okay. So I think what's happening is that a lot of us are following the rhetoric and we're not looking at policy and the things that are behind what's going on, like with his agenda on his website and everything with Project 2025, which is really real. And and I'm just going to say this for context. I had a conversation with a friend of mine who's a college grad and historian. He loves history. And I said to him, do you know that Project 2025 says that they want to take away all the guardrails for corporate America so that there's no diversity? So what they've been doing behind closed door, which is that gremlin that works for him behind the club, bald guy, he's been suing entities and just suing people because he wants to take away all those guardrails. He doesn't want people to be able to sue, right, for discrimination. And he is a Black man, and he said to me, well, then they don't want you to work there, then build your own company. You guys are voting for us to start from scratch again. And I don't understand the logic. If anybody wants to address that.
He doesn't either. He left. Give me 1 second. I know Amber has to dip on this in a little bit, so I want to go ahead and give you the floor. Go ahead, Amber.
Oh, hi, Christina. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm gonna try to stay in here while I go get them because it only.
You don't do that. I'm sorry. He's saying that you hit the guest request and come back up because she was engaging with you.
It only takes like 10, 15 minutes to go get them, so I might be able to just stay in here. But I kind of wanted to talk to Carolina when she was here because the thing that
she wants to come back up too. So if you want to address her, I don't know if she's still here. She might have left. Yeah, I don't see her in the guest request anymore. But go ahead.
I'm reaching the end of my capacity to have these conversations with people. I'm honestly, I can't wait till this is over. I'm going to disengage for a short time from these conversations after because holy crap. I'm genuinely baffled to hear a young woman say that she wants to vote for the person who displays the most love. And that would be Trump. And I'm completely confused by that. Was it the calling women dog face? Was it the zero tolerance child separation policy at the border where they admitted the cruelty was the point because they wanted it to be a deterrent? Is it the SA? Is it the disparaging names he calls everybody? Is it making an enemy of half the population every day for his entire presidency? Is it the mocking of disability? Where is the love? I'm genuinely so. It's depressing. I'm depressed.
It really is.
I wonder if he does the mass deportation, do the Trump Black and brown supporters think that the IC and all the people that he's going to place in, to serve as the executioners? I hate to use that word, but that they're going to stop and ask you if you were a Trump supporter so that they don't deport you. I would love to see it.
I know. Andy, what do you think?
She was talking to me. I didn't know.
Well, she asked. Go ahead and ask your question again, Christina.
I'm saying to the Black and brown supporters, when if he gets into office and he does his mass deportation, do you think those people that are in charge are going to stop to ask you if you were a Trump supporter? And if you say yes, do you think they're going to be like, oh, you get a pass, go over there?
I'm an American, so I wouldn't.
I mean, no.
He said he's deporting legal people. He did not. He's already. And you do. I don't get this. Are you watching what he's saying? Because he's saying it out loud in his rallies.
Closely,
He said.
yes.
He said that he's going to be deporting legal, even people that have asylum. Everybody that is brown and black. That's what he's saying, sir. He said
Chris,
he was going to do it.
Chris, I don't think so because, and I also don't think people really study Nazi Germany. They really don't. They really don't see what's going on because they think it's not going to be them. But it was them in Nazi Germany. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Christina W. It was them in Nazi Germany too. Because
so that's what I'm saying. Everyone they mentioned.
What dictators do is they get more and more paranoid, and then they start going after everybody.
Exactly. Right? So now he mentioned the Congo, right, which was out of nowhere. He mentioned the Congo. Now he mentioned Puerto Rico. He mentioned Mexicans. Everyone that they mentioned, he's trying to instill fear so that when he goes to do the mass deportation, he goes, "You see, I told you, we have to get rid of all of them." And if you're not listening and you think because you vote for him, they're going to skip your house, they're going to skip you if you're walking down the street, I don't even understand how you would even fathom that that's what's going to happen. And frankly, don't you care about your neighbor or your fellow brother and sister, your mother, your friends, all the people that are here that are going to be affected by that have done nothing wrong, that have broken no laws?
Hey, host, I have a quick question because I know you guys are having this discussion about the whole vote, right? Of course, I voted for Trump.
Victory, give me 1 second, okay? They were literally in the middle of a dialogue. I'll introduce you to the conversation in one moment. I just want to make sure that they can get their conversation completed. Go ahead, Andy.
So yes, I have studied that man extensively, and to compare him to that man who committed genocide against 6 million people and experiments, all kind of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that they don't even talk about what he was doing. To compare Mr. Trump to that is absolutely insane.
I'm sorry, he compares himself to him. What are you talking about? His generals just wrote a book and said that why can't he have generals that were like generals for Hitler? And I don't think I can say that name. Oh, really? So now everybody's wrong but him. I wonder how that works now, that he's like right about everything.
And also, the experiments didn't come first.
Ma'am,
the experiments didn't come first. What came first is look at your neighbor. He's different from you. That's what came first.
I get it.
The experiments didn't come until after he was way in power. Right?
That's not
why. The experiments don't come first. The experiments come with look at your neighbor. He's different than you. Shut up, he is victory. Let me tell he is victory something. You want to talk to me, sir? You don't have to be in the comment. Would you like to say something to me?
Oh, okay. We're not supposed to be reading the comments.
No, I mean, he is victory.
He is victory. You haven't even been introduced into the conversation yet.
Yeah, well, then she just called my name.
That's fine.
What am I lying about? That the experiments didn't come first? What am I lying about? What am I lying about? He is victory. That the experiments didn't come first?
Well, ma'am, you and I are conversing, and do you even know why that man started his campaign? Those are not the reasons, or he looks different. That was not it. That was not it.
Who are you referring to?
No, he's talking about Schmittler. Right?
Yeah.
He's talking about Schmittler, but what was the result of that? What the result that 6 million people got unalive? Was that the result?
That was the result.
Well,
but
Christina,
my point,
Christina, I'm going to mute you when you're not speaking, only because you've got a lot of background noise and it's adding. There you go. Thank you.
My point is to compare that man who has not harmed my people or any people to him is a real. That's very.
He has not harmed any people. What are you talking about?
You mean that man who took a full page ad out in the New York Times for the Central Park Five.
Well, let's talk about it.
Even after they had no evidence that those people had did it, the man who's still trying to get those people, the Central Park Five, to be responsible for that.
Well, let's talk about it.
You're talking about the man that got sued because he wouldn't let rent his apartments to black people. That man is, or it's another man.
Oh yeah, we could talk about that too.
Well, did you know that his first wife wrote a book?
Christina, give me 1 second because
Sure.
Rose already gave us enough to kind of go on for right now, and Andy said we could discuss both of them. So I would love to know your thoughts on Trump's actions around the Central Park Five and the housing discrimination.
Good. Okay. So Central Park Five. I hear this smoke for Trump, but I do not hear the smoke for the police that coerced them and basically tortured them through coercion and threats and made them confess to that which they say they didn't do. Now,
why are we deflecting now?
I got you.
I'm not deflecting at all. I'm giving you what this is.
I'm giving you what you want, fam. I'm gonna give you what you want. You said I don't have the smoke. Hold on, I got you. ACAB all day, every day, 1312 all day, every day. What else you want me to say?
Okay, so
You can see both of them at the same time.
The prosecutor, you don't have the smoke for her. See, one thing for sure is
She's not running for president. What are you doing?
What's the name of the prosecutor?
Hold on for 1 second, okay? Like I know you guys' passions are high, but you can control those emotions for a second. You can control it for a minute.
Snowflake.
Don't be condescending, dude. There's no need for it.
I'm actually serious. Like I need to let me get my whole point out, and then we can converse.
We're gonna go one thing at a time. You said
one thing at
I
a
don't
time
have
because
smoke for the
it
cops.
gets overwhelming.
I got the ACAB.
I wasn't finished though.
No.
I was not finished.
I just told you I don't care. We're going one point at a time. You said I don't have smoke for the cops. I'm shouting ACAB from my rooftop. So what was the name of the prosecutor? What was the name of the prosecutor?
I wouldn't even answer his question because dude want to be rude. I wouldn't even answer your question, dude.
Yeah, I'm not going to answer that.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
not
It was
gonna
Linda
answer that,
Fairstein.
bro.
Watch this.
Hold on
Fuck
1 second.
Linda
He is
Fairstein.
victory. I don't need another moderator on the stage.
I'm just the reason I'm doing this. I don't even have to say it, right? The women have already said those people aren't running. I'm doing it because if I don't give this to you, you're gonna cry like a snowflake. I'm just telling you, like I have smoke for the police that did it. I have smoke for the prosecutor. You don't even know her name. That the prosecutor's office was headed up by Linda Fairstein. I say fuck Linda Fairstein. So I do have smoke for those people, but you're actually deflecting from the thing that was told to you about Donald Trump pulling out a full page ad as if what the cops did and what the prosecutor did makes what Trump did okay.
Are you done?
You want me to keep going?
I mean, if you're going to keep going, I'm going to be silent because that's how you have a conversation.
No, that's great. But don't deflect. Answer what you were asked and don't deflect.
I am, but what you count as deflection that sounds like
That's
deflection.
It's deflection because they're not running for president. We're talking about the two people that are running for president.
Well, you're bringing up Central Park 5. Everybody, if there's anybody.
Andy, I'm going to stop you. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to stop you. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to stop you because I don't want to discuss the prosecutor. I don't want to discuss the police officers. I want to discuss the man that's running for the presidency, for the highest office in this country. He is the one that took out the full page ad. And I'm asking you, you said that he has done no harm to your community. And that is an untruth. And we're asking I'm asking you to explain that.
Okay, so I'll deal with that directly. Do you, Miss Christina, do you like an artist? Do you like those kind of people that'll do that?
No, that's Trump. That's Trump.
I'm sorry, my name is Christina too. I get confused.
I'm sorry. What's Christina? Because I'm Christina and that's Christina B.
Okay, Christina B. Anybody here? I don't care who you are.
Okay.
Do you like people that do that?
No, that's why I don't like
Trump.
Okay.
Trump is definitely an artist.
You don't like that, right?
Right.
Okay, so I don't either, and nobody does. Not Trump. all the people knew at that time
His
was
victory. Hold on a second. I'm sorry, Andy. His victory. We didn't win here. You want to know why I didn't know you didn't win here? Because you're blocked from here. You can never speak here again. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
nobody.
Wait, Andy, are you saying that Trump doesn't like them?
Well, I want you to let me say it, and then we'll get to it, if you don't mind. At the time, nobody knew of their innocence. All they knew is people had a confession, and nobody liked them, no matter what color you were.
That's not
It just
true.
doesn't. Nobody knew that. And I don't
Okay.
think any one of you here, because see, people like that, if I knew someone did like that, I wouldn't take out an ad, I'll take their heads.
That's not true.
Secretly. That's just what I do.
The entirety
Nobody
of the
likes
black
those kind of
community,
people.
the entirety of the black community in New York was protesting their arrest because they were children.
And watch this. And I'm sure if you're familiar with this, do you remember the one, I don't know, I forgot his name, the one kid's dad brought his son up there and made him confess to it as well, and telling the other ones.
Not true.
Oh, that is true, sir.
No. That's why their convictions got thrown out, because they confessed without their parents present.
I understand that.
Do your
As
anti-blackness some other way.
No, I know, I get that. But because they were forced to confess without their parents, that's not Trump's fault.
No. You just said that the one kid had the parent brought him and made him confess.
Yes,
that's
sure
not
did.
true. That's
That
not
is
true.
And you have to
Then how did okay, listen. You can't have it both ways. Either they got exonerated partly because they confessed without their parents present, or that didn't happen.
So, Andy, are you aware that Trump's first wife wrote a book where she stated that he raped her in her home, and then he fought it, and she had to I think they settled out of court, but she never retracted the statement. Did you know that? And that was in the 90s, and I just did the research right now because it kind of coincides with the Central Park 5. So while he was fighting against that, he was doing it in his own home.
Oh, okay. So you talking about his current wife, Melania?
No, his first wife, Ivana.
Okay.
No shade, I'm just pointing out. It wasn't this part.
Okay. But back to the Central Park 5. I hear all this stuff about Trump about it, like Trump was the one who got them in trouble.
Because no one said Trump is the one who got them in trouble, Andy. We're talking about the ad, the full-page ad that this man took out.
Host, I'm okay with that. So, but that's why I'm making it personal to you.
You just said that he has not done things to cause harm to the people in your community, and we've shown you that is not true. As far as the Central Park 5 and with the housing, he wasn't allowing people who look like you and me to rent any of his spaces.
But, ma'am, when they came out with the confession, and if it was your daughter, and you just hear some guys come up and say, yeah, I did it, and then here this ad comes out, you would have been all for it. That's all I'm saying. Okay?
But he still doesn't concede that till this day.
Do you disagree with that, Christina? Seriously. If it was your daughter, and then they got somebody in custody, you wouldn't care who they are, kids, grown folks, you wouldn't care who it is, and then you get news that they confess to it, and then an ad comes out, would you then what, Miss Christina? That's all I'm saying. I just want you to consider that. Okay.
Well, consider this. Do you think there weren't other women that were raped in that time? Do you think she was the only one that was raped at that time? Do you not consider that the reason he went so hard, it was because it was Black young men, and it was a white tea woman that got raped?
Ma'am,
I didn't see him going out for everybody else.
I can understand what you're saying right there, but as far as that goes, that thing was public and big news every day. That's all people saw. Okay, so I understand those type of heinous crimes happen every day. I get it, but I just want you guys to consider it. Put yourself there, and
Andy, I'm gonna say it like this. Please. I'm gonna say it like this. Hold on, Jeff. I'm trying to expand you.
I got you. So this right here, protests swirl around the jogger case. There were people calling for their exoneration the second they got convicted. This is an article from 2002. While they were in court, after they were arrested, all the way up till after they were convicted, there were still people calling for their exoneration. These were
Have no
children.
doubt about it. Have no doubt about it.
But you're saying the opposite. You're saying after they were
Most people,
no.
all they confess to it. I mean, geez, man, this is not really hard. Whether it's true or not, you have to consider.
It's not hard. It's very simple.
You have to consider
after they were
that.
exonerated, Trump was asked and he said, no, I apologize for nothing. They probably did something. The thing is, if you're looking at the case and you're going to take out a full page ad, you should probably research the case before you start talking about some stuff that's going to potentially unalive 5 Black youth.
I get that. I agree with it. But here's my point. If all you know, not looking into it, and there's millions of people in New York and they see on that news box that we have a confession to they confessed. I don't care what color you are, who you are, no one here on this panel like an artist. And if you have somebody you don't know that they just got beat up or interrogated, they was interrogated without their mothers and fathers, and some were.
I'm from New York.
When we watched the movie, right?
I signed petitions. I
got
was
you, brother.
there. I used to hang out in Central Park.
But
you're saying no one. I'm saying you're wrong. There were many people.
But I get it. But that's still anecdotal, brother.
It's not anecdotal.
We're talking about.
I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about many, many people. There were protests.
I'm sure of it.
That's not anecdotal. That is a thing that happened.
But okay.
Ask one question, please.
Hold on one second, Christina.
Hold on.
Okay.
I'm gonna let Andy finish, and then I'm gonna go to Amber. She has her hand raised. Go ahead, Andy. Finish up.
The protesters. That's fine. There were many people protesting. Yes, but you have to. It's the same today with the power of the media. The media put out everywhere across the U.S. They have a confession. Now you might have boots on the ground, but you still have to consider the millions who weren't there with you. That's all I'm saying. And if it was your son or daughter, especially, that's why I keep going this back to the women, with you host, Miss Christina, if it was your daughter, and then you wouldn't care what color they are. All you seen is they confess to it.
Well, here's the thing. One, you can't. I can only speak for me. You can't speak for me. While I would have been, I can't even say I haven't done it. God forbid anything like that were to happen to her, right? But I think that what you're doing is kind of weird to me, because one, what you're failing to acknowledge is this jump the gun reaction by a person who has already displayed the ability and the tendency to be a racist bigot, to take out a full page ad calling for the death penalty and saying to bring back our police against 5 teenagers when they hadn't even been convicted yet. And then even after they were there, it was thrown. Well, I don't know the right word to say for it, but they were found not guilty or whatever. He never apologized. He just assumed that because they were Black, they were guilty of something. And for you to not recognize and realize the real fear, because they were children. These were kids that we're talking about, and you're not looking at them as children. And I can only imagine. While I would be absolutely terrified and mortified and over incensed about my daughter being violated, I would want the truth of the matter. I wouldn't seek to destroy someone's life if they were not guilty of a crime. I would want justice to be done, but to say death first ask questions later. And in his case, he don't even give a fuck about the questions, just death first. I think that is irresponsible. And I think that for you to keep arguing and defending that point is slightly weird for me. Go ahead, Amber.
Yeah, there was another woman brutally assaulted and actually left unalived on one of those metal balconies in Brooklyn that same week that this other crime happened, and it was also in the newspaper. He didn't say anything about that. The perpetrator in that case was a white man. I'm just saying.
Maybe he spent all his money, which was reported to be about $85,000. $85,000 to make sure that he had full page ads taken out in multiple newspapers. It wasn't just one.
Yeah, I'm at Fire Escape, by the way. I'm sorry I couldn't remember. But
can I also
I
chime
find
in
it
when there's time?
absolute peak of hypocrisy and irony that Donald Trump had so much energy for an SA crime while he was committing them himself. Because that was the same year that Ivana talked about him doing it to her. And it within a few years is when he did it to E. Jean Carroll. So that's pretty wild to me.
Octavia?
Okay, so
hold on, I have to qualify you first. Are you over the age of 21?
Yes.
Are you a Christian believer in the God of the Christian Bible?
Definitely believe in God, yes.
Okay, and have you voted or are you voting in the upcoming general election?
Yes.
Awesome, go.
Okay, so I think that the frustration comes in with people who don't support Trump is that what you guys don't want to acknowledge is that Trump is a public figure, whether any of us like it or not. With that comes a responsibility. You can't just come out here and start barking all of these narratives, especially when people's lives are at risk, because you have influence. You have influence. You have a platform. Whether this is why intention matters. Sometimes intentions is an underlining thing. And we just feel like this is something you guys are intentionally trying to ignore. Like, if you are not moved by some of the things that you have been seeing, some of the things that you have been hearing, I don't even know what to say. Because even with just that, you know what I'm saying. And I think, at least for me, that's where a lot of the frustration comes in. The ignorance and not wanting to accept that he has influence, which means he cannot be ignorantly saying the things that he's saying. Prime example, that ad, Andy. He had a responsibility to know the facts before he put out an opinion like that.
Well, I agree with that.
If I could jump in here real quick, y'all, I want to give a verbal warning. We need to get to 150K by the end of the half hour, please. We're really behind on likes today. Keep sharing, and thank you for all of the gifts for our lovely Christina, the host, and anyone on the panel. We love y'all. I don't talk very often on these, but I did want to ask a question. How normal is it for somebody who is not involved in a case to put out an entire full page ad to say what their opinion is on said case? This is one of the only ones I know of, or the only one that I know of, and it just seems really odd that somebody not involved at all in the case is going to put out a whole full page ad to say what their opinion is on it. I mean, I think that in and of itself says something that he felt the need to do that.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there. Listen, if you haven't already, please hit the follow. Consider subscribing to the platform. I would greatly appreciate more people. We do have a Discord that you will have access to if you're into makeup, if you're a makeup girly or a makeup guy, hey, I do host sub-only lives where I go over different techniques, different things like that, and we have a lot of fun in the live chats as well. So please consider subscribing if you would like to. I do support First Star, which is an organization that helps foster children pay for college. That link is in the bio as well. I want to thank you all for being here. I appreciate the conversation thus far. Let me see how many people are in the guest request. I want to make sure we get as many people in as possible today. Yeah, so I am gonna swap out soon. I know Octavia just came up, but I want you guys to go ahead and finish the dialogue that you're having. Thank you so much for having the conversation. I know this is a tough one. This is not an easy conversation to have. It is a necessary conversation to have. So I appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you.
Hi, I'll drop. So I just have one last question for Trump supporters. So let's say that he continues to have rallies. Are you comfortable being side by side with Proud Boys and the KKK? Like if they're in that crowd, do you feel safe? Do you feel like they're there to support you as well? I find it really hard to believe that you could look at Trump and say, he's for me, when the Proud Boys and the KKK and all of these racist organizations are supporting him because they recognize what, I forget the word. They just feel like he's for what they believe in.
Well, you're asking me that? Well,
Trump supporter on the pen.
I mean, I saw Miss Kamala call Joe Biden a racist, and rightfully so. Even he was at his best friend's that Grand Wizard's
Sir, that was
funeral.
not the question. I understand. I understand we all have the freedom to speak, but that was not the question, and we're going to drop soon. So if you could just address directly what I asked, that would be great.
You asked if I feel safe with Trump. Yes, of course. I would not feel safe with Miss Harris.
I didn't ask you that. I asked you, do you feel safe with the KKK and the Proud Boys?
Yes.
I can't associate.
I'm sorry, did you hear her question? Because it was a little.
Yeah, I did. I can't associate the Proud Boys with Mr. Trump no more than I can associate Antifa with BLM. I can't associate with those. I just can't. I can't tie that to him. I can't even tie Project 2025 to Trump. I just can't, because he's disavowed it and said that's not his enough times. Okay.
But did you know that he is recorded not so long ago in an interview that one of the authors of 2025 is going to be part of his administration if he becomes president? Yes. Do you not think that that's because he supports that?
Well, let me
and his name is mentioned in the Project 2025 over 300 times.
Yes, it is.
So,
but let me ask
312 to be
okay,
312.
Those are great points, but let me add this to you. The reason why I resonate with Trump, we would all probably agree that we can say that Trump's an a-hole. I run my own businesses, and I understand that the boss is always an a-hole. They never nice.
That's not true.
That's not true.
Well, the ones that you remember, they weren't nice.
That is not true.
So watch this. The boss is never nice, or they can't be the boss.
That's not true either.
It's not true. You
How old are you?
Over and over again does not make it true. It's just not true.
Wait, I want to know if I might ask, how old are you?
So, over 21. So watch this. What I was going to say
Are you under 30? Because if you don't have experience, then you're not really speaking from experience.
Well,
and I know
I can't determine anyone's experience. I
could determine mine. I'm 56. If you're under 30 and you're giving all of these examples when you haven't lived enough, then you don't have a lot to go by. How many employers have you had? And are you a mean boss? Is that what you're saying?
No, you can't. I can't determine your experience or speak for it, no matter what your age is.
But you just said everybody knows that bosses are mean. They're not.
Okay. Fine. That's fine.
There's entire segments of academia on business. You're talking about Theory X management. You might be we might want to look into theory Y management. There's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like there are studies to make leadership not as much of an a-hole. It is no longer 1940. We don't work for whoever Fred Flintstone worked for.
Amen.
Okay, I understand. I get that.
I think something people also don't understand about Trump is an opportunist first. So let me just say, if you do not have the coins, if you do not have the monies, he is not talking about you. He is not in support of you. He's just making you feel comfortable.
Okay, well, that's a good statement. But
what he's talking, it does not apply to you if you are not in a certain tax bracket. Because guess what? He can get no favors from you.
The reason why I said what I said about the mean boss, when you tie him to 2025, from my looking at Trump and hearing him, does he sound like the one that is going to do whatever he wants to do or what somebody else wants him to do?
We know already by history when he was president that anybody that licks his boots gets a pass. And he will honor whatever they want because they're kissing up to him. Secondly, did you hear him say that he hated paying overtime and he would get people from outside to come in just to not pay his employees overtime? How do you respect, as a man, another man that speaks that way? How many families did he not pay accordingly just so he can save a couple of dollars? Well, he said it. He said it out loud. He said, I hated paying overtime. It's been running the circle. And what I find is a lot of Trump supporters are not watching him. And I don't understand that. Why aren't you watching him? I mean, you want to support him. No, because half of the things that are said to you, you're like, well, I don't know. And I didn't see it. I didn't hear it.
Because most of the things you're saying is actually hearsay. Just like
it's not hearsay. Earlier, he said it.
Earlier, Christina mentioned about him being sued, right? But the facts are, it wasn't Donald Trump being sued, it was him. And Donald Trump actually came in a part of the company after that suit. And then when you look at the settlement of that case, it had nothing to do with racism. See, this is when you say something like that. Oh, he didn't. When you look at the,
what are you talking about?
Wait a minute. I challenge.
Case had
just
to
hold
do
on.
With nothing other than racism.
Hold on, brother.
The settlement had to do with racism. They had to
which case?
Stop marking their applications by race.
Mark the application with C for colored.
Let
me ask you
deal with
real question, Andy.
The settlement of those cases had nothing to do with racism.
Real quick question.
That's just the truth.
Have you read the case?
Yes, that's how I know.
The answer is no, because as part of the settlement, they had to agree to stop putting the letter C on applications.
100%.
The only part that you're focusing on is that they didn't admit guilt, but they paid a crap ton of money and had to promise and commit to no longer doing the things that were deemed racist.
And now, whose company was it?
Administration. The Nixon administration that publicly used the N-word like it was like they were saying, yo, pass me that plate, N-word, like it was nothing, right? That administration said, yo, Fred, Don, that's too much.
Well, Jeff, I got a question for all of you. Are there racists in the Democratic Party?
Yes.
And are there racists in the Republican Party?
Yes, both.
So what are we really talking about for real?
Do you think racism is a spectrum, or is it just like you're a racist or you're not a racist? I think most or all white people are inherently racist.
Oh, no, man. Come on. No. Stop.
Get off race for a second.
No,
Going to the point.
No.
I'm sorry.
I'm from Pascagoula, Mississippi.
What do you think is happening right now, Angie? What do you think is happening right now, Angie?
Christina, I'm from Pascagoula, Mississippi.
What do you think is happening right now? Do you know what's happening right now? You know why they're so afraid? They're afraid that they're going to be eradicated or erased. It's hysteria. What they're realizing, and I've been watching a lot and listening a lot. They realize that they're not the smartest people in the room anymore. They never were. Their ancestors, they lied to them, okay? And they see us climbing. They see us doing better. We're thriving. We're learning. We're learning history. They see it as when we say things about what happened in the past, they feel insulted. Why do you feel insulted? We don't feel insulted. It's history. But they're feeling less than when they shouldn't, because we're all God's children. And if they were to view themselves that way, they wouldn't feel so threatened. But because they wrongly and delusionally think themselves superior to you and I, this is where we're at now. So I have white friends that are wonderful friends that I've had. My oldest friend, 40 years, she's Italian. My good friend here in California, she's Jewish. Listen, I'm afraid for her. I'm afraid for my other, because even them, they don't escape, right? Because the Proud Boys about, they would not replace us. Are you watching what's happening?
Why did the First Step Act get passed? Why did Trump sign it? Does anybody know?
So you said what?
Why did Trump sign the First Step Act?
Whenever he does something because he wants to.
No, the reason he signed the First Step Act was because his dream girl and Kim Kardashian went in his office and told him to.
I'm sorry, something's wrong. I'm hearing like
that's
echo.
where-
I'm finna drop down and come back in.
Really important.
I'm gonna drop down
You
and come
just said
back
Trump
in.
did something because
Got
he
echo or
wanted
something.
to.
Come back in.
Prime example of when he did this.
Was told him to.
Very dangerous. He hired Fauci, right, to advise us on COVID and all the need to know information, right? This man came forth with a fact, and what did Trump do? Don't listen to Fauci. He doesn't know what he's talking about. You hired this man. You appointed this man, but now this man is saying something that you conveniently don't agree with, and now he's no longer speaking facts. But yet you said he was an expert.
But you guys can fact check me on this. Trump's dream girl and Kim Kardashian went and told him to sign the First Step Act, so he did. Do you know who his dream girl is?
Christina, I don't know what's happening. I have to mute you. It's really, it gets louder and louder every time you come off. It's extremely staticky, and I have ADHD, so I just can't.
Lords, do you know who his dream girl is, right?
I do not know.
Ivanka.
You know what?
That's so true.
It's true. Ivanka went in. He was like, "Oh, for you, anything." This man, by the way, says that he wants to bring back stop and frisk. Let's put the First Step Act to the side and see which community does stop and frisk disproportionately affect. That would be us. That would be us. Going from right past qualified immunity into blanket immunity for the police. Who is that going to affect when they unalive 12-year-olds with toy pew-pews? Again, us or black women with a pot of water. The immunity is going to affect who again? That would be us. So unless his girlfriend goes in there and says, "Hey, stop brutalizing black people," he's not going to do that. He's just going to keep asking for more measures to allow the black community to get brutalized while saying, "Hey, at least the immigrants aren't taking your black jobs."
And I just want to be very clear for everybody in the comments. Jeff is a black man.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm sick of seeing it and I'm sick of replying. He's a black man. Okay.
He's a black man. Okay.
Yeah,
He
I'm
really
black.
is.
He has a black and white photo, but he's a black man.
So someone mentioned yesterday, I don't know if anyone heard it, they said that the reason why he's mentioning the 1798 law, that he's saying that was when we had great laws, is because those are the laws that would help enact 2025. So they're trying to, the people behind him, and I know that because let's just be honest, he's not intelligent. The people that are around him that are telling him to do these things, they're doing the research. They're like, hey, if you do this, we'll be able to get away with doing that. And he's doing it so blatantly in our faces. And I don't understand black and brown people that don't see it. And I just...
Because they believe that they won't be affected by it. He's not talking to me. I have a job. He's not talking to me. I'm not from Puerto Rico. I'm from some other Latin American country. He's not talking to me. I'm not Mexican.
But it didn't raise anyone's, it didn't raise a red flag for everyone when he mentioned the Congo. That raised a red flag for me when he mentioned it. I was like,
he's not talking.
I feel like
He's
when
not
he
talking to
speaks,
me. I'm not from the Congo.
I feel like when Trump speaks, we all feel like he's speaking on a level that's of a fifth grader, right? He's talking in circles, he's deflective. We don't even really understand what we just heard. But when it comes to these articles or a prepared debate, then all of a sudden he has all of these words. And I think this aligns with what Christina is saying. Like, this is what we should be questioning. Like, this can't all be Trump, right? It has to be some of the people that are behind him, who are doing the research, who are writing these things down and feeding it to him to feed to us.
Thank you so much, Octavia and Christina V. I am going to drop you guys back down to the comments. We do have more people in the guest request, and I want to kind of keep cycling it out. Y'all are doing an amazing job today. I want to say thank y'all so much.
Thank you for the time. Everybody have a great day.
Yeah, I know this topic is like I said, I know it's a sensitive topic, right? So I do want to be mindful of that. So I do greatly appreciate all of you for being here, and everyone in the guest request for being patient while we get people in and out. If I click on you and you don't come through, I will just re-request back up. Let me swap out Amber. Oh, no, I kind of want Amber to stay.
You can drop me if you need to, Christina. It's okay.
I want to give Mac a chance to come up. So give Amber, stay in the comments if you can, and I'll bring you back up. So I'm pretty sure we're going to need you at some point, because
I'll be around. It's okay.
You already know it's going to go there. But I want to keep your depression in mind.
Christina, I just wanted to let you know, True Facts on the top right thinks you a broke bitch. Me personally, I wouldn't take that. Me personally, I wouldn't take that. But hey, that's what True Facts said. True Facts said in the chat, I was about to subscribe, but I got skipped, as if his measly $4 is gonna make you skip to my loo. So I think he calling you broke. I wouldn't let that slide. Me personally, I wouldn't let that slide. But
broke, I call him blocked.
that's crazy. That's crazy work to me.
You call me broke, I call you blocked. Look,
that's Satan's work to me, calling Christina broke. Like, come on.
Like
literally. But also too, this is like, have we talked about the elephant in the room? Because I really just went to get my hair cut just now. That's why I wasn't on the thing. But
I think it was quiet.
But I had to get my hair cut.
Miss Charlene, I see.
I sport the low cut season with the deep wave, so I have to get my hair cut. Listen, have we talked about the elephant in the room? Because nobody ever asked Mike Pence what has he done in the 4 years that he was there. Nobody ever asked that of Mike Pence, or of Joe Biden, or of Dick Cheney. Nobody has asked that of any VP ever. But now all of a sudden, people believe the VP has a job, other than being a tiebreaker for the Senate and being the person that's going to be the president if the current POTUS votes.
Very real. Hold on one second. Nikem, you're just spinning, sweetheart. I'm going to drop you. If you intended to request up, you just hit the request, and I'll bring you back up. If you're a Christian believer in the God of the Christian Bible, you want to come up, hit the guest request.
But
I would love to see somebody.
I
was going to say, I would love to see somebody. Sorry.
Like, my question would be, why all of a sudden are they so interested in what the VP does? Because the VP, most people can't even remember who the VP was. They have to go look it up. Most people have, in 10 years, nobody will know who Trump's VP was. They won't know. People, if you notice, nobody even says his name now. Nobody says that man's name. When was the last time you heard somebody say Mike Pence? You have not heard that.
Who?
January 6th. That's what I'm saying. When was the last time you heard somebody mention his name? You have not. People need to examine why they want her to do more than any other VP has ever done. You think she your mama? I don't know.
I would love to see somebody run a topic asking like what they expect JD Vance to bring. Just to prove that point. Like what do you want him to do?
Yeah. We do have some more. Miss Charlene, I see you in the guest request. I'm gonna get you up here ASAP, my love. I stand on business. Can you come off mute for me? Ronnie, go to sleep.
I'm sorry. What did you ask me? Sorry, my phone was ringing. Pardon me?
You're over 21?
I am 66.
Okay. Are you a Christian believer in the God of the Christian Bible? And
I am indeed. I am indeed.
Have you or are you voting in the upcoming general election?
I have not voted. I have my absentee ballot here, and I'm turning it in tomorrow, I believe.
Awesome. Okay, go ahead and mute up for me real fast. I just want to qualify the other two on the panel, and then we'll go ahead and engage. Lewis, can you come off mute for me? Same questions I answered. Over the age of 21, are you a Christian believer in the God of the Christian Bible? And have you or are you voting in the upcoming general election?
Yes, I am a minister of the New Covenant. I'm 45, and yes, I am voting this year.
Okay, mute up for me really fast. Hey, Becca, you can come off mute for me? Are you 21 years of age or older? Are you a Christian believer in the God of the Christian Bible? And have you or are you planning on voting in the upcoming general election?
I'm 41. I am a Christian. And yes, I plan on voting.
Awesome. Okay, so you guys know what we're talking about. I don't know who wants to engage first. Go ahead. I stand on business.
I stand on truth.
I'm sorry, I stand on truth.
It's okay.
I stand on business, for real. No,
I understand. And I do too.
I stand on truth. Go ahead.
I've enjoyed listening to you all. You guys made some very, very valid point. I grew up in a different time than most of you because I'm a lot older. Mm-hmm. And the things that we see now are the things that we saw. It wasn't as out in the open as it is now, but I grew up seeing those things. I grew up in a small community in Ohio, and my mother was president of NAACP. So there were always little things going on, little dirty, underhanded things going on jobs and in our government that the NAACP had to step in and deal with. So we've seen them. The one thing I do say about Trump is he says the things that the rest of them are afraid to say. Like someone was saying, he's a community figure or whatever he is. And he says the things that a lot of them are afraid to say. They want to say them, but they know in the wrong situation, they might have to go pick up their head. So they won't say them, but that's why they cheer behind him, because he's doing what they want to do. Also, we know our history as African Americans. We know what we've been through. We know that our ancestors built this country. They want to belittle us and make us look dumb and stupid and all that. But if it had not been for our ancestors, this America would not be what it has been as far as progressive. It would not be because of our people. So it just kind of grinds my gears to hear our people so in support of this man who does not even like them. He doesn't care anything about them. All he wants is more puppets to, like they said, lick his boots. I call them house boys, but that's all he wants them to do. House boys and house girls. And that's what he wants from us of a color. That's what he wants from us of color. But it just kind of grinds me to hear our people in support of him, because those are the same people going to be crying if he gets in office, and everything that they need, he's going to take. Everything that they need to survive, he's going to take. And really, one thing he did say is he likes the poorly educated, and that is very evident. So I just want to commend y'all. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't back down for nobody. You got the senior citizens out here rooting for you in the background. Thank you.
Is that all you wanted to say on the panel?
Yeah, and I'm a Christian and I love Jesus, and the stuff that I see going on does not go along with what my Bible says. But I've always wanted to ask these people, because they always say, Kamala Harris is for abortion, Has she performed any abortions? She can be for it all she wants to be. People are going to have abortions. They've been having them since the beginning of times. She can support what she wants to support. She is not our religious leader. She's not leading us in a spiritual way. So I don't see why people are in such an uproar. If you're going to have an abortion, do it where you're going to be safe. Just don't be having them just for the sake of having them. But if it's going to cause, the end of the life for the mother, or the baby is not going to be able to be saved, you have to do what your conscience tells you to do. I myself would never have an abortion. But if she supports it, she's not performing an abortion. But all these things that they want to cut her down for, Trump is saying this stuff. He's groping young women, him and Jeffrey Epstein. He's sexually assaulting other women. He's robbing people. He's discriminated against people. He is actually committing the acts. So I don't know why people want to get on that high horse. And like I said, I am not personally for abortion. I've never been in that situation where I had to make that decision, thank God. But it's so many other things we need to be, fussing about. What about our rights as women? I don't want them taking my rights away. I'm 66 years old. And as a woman, I want to get the medical care I need. I want to get the things that I need. I've worked all my life. I've had a job since I was 14. I've been a boss, and I never was a nasty boss. I never was. I never treated my employees bad. I treated them with love and respect, but we had to follow the rules. But I want my rights as a woman, and I don't want any man saying what I can and cannot do. My daddy was the only man that could tell me what I could and could not do. Not even my husband when I had one. You could suggest some stuff, but you couldn't tell me what I could and could not do. Because like I told my husband, I'm grown just like you. Now we can talk about it, but I really the final decision will be mine. So I just our people, come on, get it together. Come on. Y'all not that ignorant. Come on, get it together.
I appreciate you.
Thank you, ma'am.
She said you can suggest some stuff.
I like her.
And we could talk about it. You ain't gonna tell me what to do. I love that. Let me Charlie. You want to talk real quick? What's up, Louis?
Ballot boxes on fire.
Louis, hold on 1 second for me, love. Give me one moment.
Wait. I don't know. I think some people in the comments want to come up, but maybe they're scared. I don't know.
You don't have to be afraid. This is I won't call it a safe space, but this is a space where you can speak your mind. I think to call it a safe space would be just not true. It's a safer space where you can come and speak your mind. If you've heard how the panel has gone thus far and you feel comfortable coming up, you're more than welcome to hit the guest request. Just please be patient as we work through the guests. Again, keep tapping the screen, sharing the live out. I appreciate everybody for being here. Mac, how are you? I didn't even say hi when you came up. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, a little bit rude that you presumed how I'm voting.
I didn't presume how you were voting.
Well, I mean, you didn't ask.
I
think you took it for granted.
Twin, I think I spoke for both of us when me and Christina talked about it earlier. Was that not okay?
I did what I do every year. I already voted. I did what I do every year. I wrote in Jesus Christ.
Hallelujah.
That's the only thing to do. Look, we have a little bit of an uphill climb with the whole naturalized citizen thing, but we'll get there.
Wait, what? What are you? Who didn't do what?
I don't know. Somebody, Nikki, people. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna say this, and I just want y'all to know that this has no reflection on Christina, Carol, whatsoever. But people are dumb. This is just my opinion. This is not the opinion of the advertisers on this channel. But people are dumb. Because that lady never said, anything about Jesus at all. And as a matter of fact, she's more Jesus than most of y'all because every time she go to church, she wear a skirt. You motherfuckers be wearing pantsuits to the church. That lady wear a skirt. I ain't never seen her in the church without a skirt on. That lady wears a skirt. You worried about Jesus. If Jesus want to keep her out, let him try. Let's see your omni God omni.
Let's see your
Let's see him omni. Let's see. Let's see. We got a week. What is today? We got a week from today. And the next week? We got a week from today. Let's see. Go out there, take your children to Sunday school. Take your children to Halloween and trick or treat and shit. Because I have a feeling a lot of you motherfuckers gonna be crying on November 5th. Especially because we heard the man on Joe Rogan say that he buys polls. He buys polls. He buys polls that show he is ahead. He said it on Joe Rogan. He said, I pay $500,000 and a poll show that I'm ahead 51-49, but they're too expensive. That's what he said. They've been flooding the poll space with GOP heavy polls. He said he buy the polls. He said it himself. He buys polls and they put them in there and they show that I'm ahead 51-49, but they charge me like $500,000 for them. It costs too much. He said it. He did. He did Phoenix evolutional healing, whatever the hell that it is. But see, that's why y'all like God, because y'all like to con people with Phoenix evolutional healing, whatever that is. That's why y'all like God, because y'all some kind of artist your damn self. He said it. I can find a clip and send it to you.
I wish somebody could find the clip and play it.
I can find a clip. I can find a clip. I'm not your sister. I am not your sister. I am not your sister. If you're a Trump voter, I am not your sister. I'm your enemy.
Sorry, but that didn't make no sense.
Verbal warning, friends. 200K by the end of the hour, please, to keep the comments on.
Don't let her take the comments away. Tap for your lives. Lewis, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm just coming in as a Christian man, you know what I'm saying? As a Christian, you know, understanding and knowing the Bible, and as a father of 3 daughters and a grandfather of a boy, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that I do not agree with as far as, and I'm talking about biblically, with what, you know, the whole agenda is. Like, I don't see what's the push. Like, I understand that gender dysphoria is a disease or a mental disorder, right? And because a lot of kids go through it, but there's ways of dealing with it without having boys dressed as girls or girls dressed as
Who is having that? What are you even talking about? What are you even talking about? What are you even talking
out
about?
of the gate.
Like the transphobe that just popped out was crazy just now. That's wild work.
So
what are you even talking about? And this is the thing. Unless you're dressing your boy as a girl, why the fuck do you care?
Well, because
Why
I
do you
live
care?
in New
No,
Jersey.
what?
Can I finish?
Are you in love with somebody that's trans? No, you cannot. You cannot. Are you in love with somebody that's trans? How is somebody dressing like a girl or vice versa? How is it?
Do you understand?
You're not going to be transphobic or homophobic or anything else like that.
I'm not being transphobic or
But you
homophobic.
are.
You are.
Not
So,
all I
so Lewis, question one. Are you a mental health professional?
No.
Okay, question 2. Do you own a DSM-5?
Do you have a degree? Do you have a college degree at all?
Okay. Do you own a copy of a DSM-5?
No.
Do you know what DSM-5 is?
No, not really.
Okay, cool. Question 3. What religion was Jesus?
Jesus didn't have a religion.
Yes, he was a rabbi, so he did have a religion. What religion was Jesus? I'm just going to ask again.
Jesus Christ never claimed a religion.
He was baptized into a religion.
He never claimed the religion, is what I'm saying. I
When
didn't
you
say
get what happens when you get baptized? Is that a
baptized
political thing?
under the Judaic law, but there was a reason why he was
Okay,
baptized.
so then he was Jewish. What did he teach? Which religion did he teach? What law did he teach?
He didn't teach religion, is what I'm saying.
He didn't teach any religious law.
He wasn't teaching religion. Jesus didn't come
But
down
when
and
he
say
quoted the Torah,
Christians.
so when he quoted the Torah, he wasn't teaching religion.
No, he was doing away with religion.
He was doing away with religion. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You're wrong, because he never said, I'm going to do away with religion. As a matter of fact, he said, not one jot or tittle of the law will pass until heaven and earth are gone. They're still here. At least one of them is. I don't know about the other one. The other one might be fictional, but earth is still here.
What is
So
the
he was-
greatest commandment Jesus gave us?
Wow, because we're
What-
not.
which-
we're gonna stay on
I got
track.
you. I got you, fam. What is the greatest commandment? What is the greatest commandment?
Love above all else.
Love your neighbor as you love yourself?
Yeah, love your neighbor.
That's Leviticus 19:18. That's part of the religious law.
Yeah, but I never said I hated trans or anything like that.
I'm not talking about you. You know, hold on, real quick.
What are
Let
you
me
even
be, hold
talking
on.
about?
I got you. Let me be, Lewis, you are, but that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is I'm not Christian. Your lack of knowledge. Actually, I'm more Christian than you, and he ran away. Look, I wanted to say this a while ago when somebody accused me of not being Christian. I've been through 5 of the seven Roman Catholic sacraments. I've been through 5 of them. I looked up since the minute that I started my deconstruction, I was researching in the Roman Catholic law, like the catechism, what it takes to be excommunicated. I would have to do one of 2 things that I'm eligible to do. One, I would have to go to the Pope and slap him, and I'm not paying airfare for that. So if I slap the Pope, then yeah, I would get excommunicated. The second one is I would have to perform or facilitate an abortion. Those are the 2 things that can get me excommunicated. And the second one, like, I'd have to go through a trial, and I'm not going to the Vatican. Fuck that. So I'm still technically a Catholic. So I'm more Christian than the people up here accusing me of not being Christians. And I'm an atheist, which is wild. I'm like just going through an identity crisis. So technically, as in my religion, I'm trans.
I love you, Jeff. I really do. Really do. These 2 guests are spinning. I am going to, Shay 90, you're just spinning. I'm going to drop you back down. If you want to come back up, please hit that guest request. Nicola Jackson 9311, you are spinning as well. I'm going to drop you back down. If you're a Christian,
okay.
If you're a Christian believer in the God of the Christian Bible and you want to come up on the panel and discuss the topic, please feel free to do so. Go ahead, Lawrence.
Also, I want to say, can we disavow ourselves of this notion that you have to hate people to be racist or transphobic or homophobic or misogynist or anything? You don't have to. You just have to believe that you know what is better for them than they do. You don't have to hate people to be racist. You just have to think, right, that them not being a part of something is better for them and better for the community. You don't have to hate them to be racist. You don't. You just have to believe that those people not being a part of the community makes it better. You don't have to hate them.
Everyone, continue to tap the screen, please. We have 10 minutes. We need to get to the 200K mark within 10 minutes, or the comments are going to be turned off, or kind of behind on the likes today. Sorry, y'all. I'm not sure. Becca, did she already qualify you? I don't remember.
I think so. She did?
I think I qualified Becca, didn't I, Lorna?
No,
Leah?
I did.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I qualified her. I did not qualify Black Lightning.
Okay, I couldn't remember with Becca. Black Lightning, are you 21 or over?
Yes, and confused as well.
Well, aren't we all? Are you a Christian or a believer in the Christian Bible?
No.
Oh, okay. What are your beliefs?
I don't have beliefs. I'm just the same as I came out the womb.
Okay. So do you believe in the God of the Christian Bible, Black Lightning?
I mean, she just asked that and I said no.
If you're a Christian or a believer in the God of the Christian Bible and you want to come up and have this conversation,
Exactly. These motherfuckers need a filter.
I gotta tell you that background picture is melting my brain.
What?
Like, is he the curtain or is he wearing the robe?
Listen,
Like, which is which?
Because
he is the
not too
curtain,
much,
and
okay?
the curtain
Because when
is
I
him.
saw it, I thought
It's
it
like
was
some Trinity bullshit happening right in front of us.
I was just gonna say
He's
it's
fully
the holy
man and fully
voting.
curtain.
It's the holy voting Trinity.
I'm gonna drop for the dreaded capitalism, but I'll be around. I may come back if y'all are still on later.
all right. Thanks,
Thank you,
Jeff.
Jeff.
Thank you so
If
much.
anybody is not following Jeff, please make sure you do, especially if you like the conversation he's been having today. He does this often.
All the time. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, when I did this one and it did that, I was like, it's kind of weird. But you know, when you start playing with it too much, it just gets worse and worse. So I just left it.
I just started dabbling and it's so bad.
I was like, never mind. We'll leave it.
It could not spell the word tonight. Like, I put it in the command and it came back wrong like twice.
Yeah, guys, I'm helping my daughter with something. Give me 1 second. I'm here now.
Somebody said, look at Jesus' hand. It looks like Kate Middleton's hand when she took that fake Easter picture.
Oh my goodness. Listen. Y'all listen, I just blame ChatGPT.
No one is blaming you. We're marveling.
No, we're not
that's
blaming
all.
you. We're not
marveling.
blaming you. It's hilarious because that's exactly how I imagine Jesus just hiding, trying to be while y'all talking about he hides behind a curtain saying, please leave me alone. He is trying to blend into the curtain, saying, please leave me alone.
We're gonna do a quick
Are
vote
those
here.
his feet?
Thank you,
Are
Ronnie.
his feet supposed to be sticking out at the bottom? Or is that I'm trying to figure out if those are toes.
It looked like he did. It looked like he
He's
dropped
got 4 feet.
He dropped a few loaves of the bread. Never mind. All right, that's enough.
He's
enough.
a squid.
So
he's a squid on the bottom half.
Not too much on ChatGPT. Okay.
If you think it's Christina's fault, tap on her face. If you think it's not, tap on Jesus.
Tap on
that's how you vote. Yeah.
We'll tally that up at the end.
If you're a Christian believer that got a Christian Bible, you want to talk about the topic, come on up. Edgar, can you come off mute for me? Miss Charlene, how you doing, beautiful?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you all doing today?
Good. You've been so patient. Thank you for being patient in that guest request. I was trying to get more Christians up here.
No, baby, it was hot. I understand. Everybody want to talk. I understand. I appreciate you letting me come up. How's everybody doing? All my lovelies.
Doing good. Happy Monday.
Charlene.
You know, just working through this topic. It's a doozy for sure.
I wanted to add my little 2 cents worth.
Go ahead.
Okay, I am so slapped. I just don't even know where to begin. I don't understand what's going on. Because this is so simple to me. I mean, even a child could understand what's really going on. First of all, Trump ain't gonna stay. If he got into the office, he wouldn't stay because they're going to immediately do Article 25 on him and say he cracked it, and then here comes J.D. Vance. I'm in my 60s. I've worked all my life. I am now disabled. I have existing conditions. So I just be shit out of luck, won't I? Or in my shape. I've paid my Social Security all my life. But if Trump gets in, he wants to. I already don't get enough as it is. I'm living on a budget as it is. He wants to cut all the progress that they made with our medications, the prices. They want to do something about that. Because I'm on insulin, they cap it. Okay, they're gonna go back to however many $100 that I can't afford to spend. I mean, really, what's going on? And then all these black men talking all this black smack. I'm trying to understand. Is you got a mama? Where your mammy at? What's she doing? What about your great granny? You just gonna kick them off. You ain't gonna help them. You don't help them now. So when he come in and do all the things he wants to do, are you gonna step in and help the mama, help the granny? Hell to the no. You probably don't even talk to her. So I'm just not understanding what do y'all think? Kamala Harris, ain't nobody perfect. But if y'all can sit back and excuse the shit that Donald Trump does and make excuses for him, it's something real wrong with y'all. You got self-hate. That's one thing. You hate yourself.
Amen.
You hate black folk and you hate yourself. Because it ain't nothing that man is offering that you should want to partake in. Not one thing. He's a liar. He's a rapist. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry, y'all. He's a rapist.
Amen.
I don't understand it. And then you holler about Jesus. Jesus wouldn't have nothing, you know what I'm saying, but Jesus wouldn't have nothing to do with that. Not at all. So I'm trying to understand, how do y'all justify? How do you live with yourself? How do you go to sleep at night and jump up and holler about Trump? I just don't get it. I know I'm I'm not as eloquent as everybody else, but this thing really, I'm very nervous. I voted for Kamala and I voted down ballot because I understand that not only do I have to vote for her as president, but I have to give her what she needs in the Senate and in the House in order to enact the programs that she wants to do. That's why Obama couldn't do shit his last 4 years. Because old cricket head, what's the man stroking out, what's his name, McConnell, stopped him at every chance he had to do. So you got to understand, you can't just vote for her as president, you have to vote down ballot so she can do the things she wants to do. So I'm sorry. I know I'm preaching to the choir.
I'm going to have one of the other co-hosts take this. I got to take a call really quick.
That's just I'm worried. I'm afraid. And I hate to feel that way because I listen to these people and I'm trying to figure out what is really going on. Is it a mass hysteria? Everybody done lost their mind. Somebody say something to me.
It's the early stages of fascism.
Yeah, it is. But also, Miss Charlene, what I want to tell people is I follow certain people that are really, really, really analyzing they're really, really analyzing the polls and the early voting numbers. I do not believe you have anything to worry about. I do not.
I believe that too, Lord, because I watch all of the campaigning they show them here on TikTok. All of the campaigns that she does, her rallies and whatnot, and they are running over. Whereas he got folks leaving here, But I feel the excitement, especially in the young people. What is it, Gen X? Is that it, Gen X?
Gen Alpha.
I think that's Gen Alpha. Gen X is my old ass, Miss Charlene.
And people older than me.
Okay, well, I said Gen X is my damn.
Gen X is my old ass, Miss Charlene.
Okay.
Look,
Well,
I'm right there with
Gen X
you.
too.
I'm right there with you, Lord. So we Gen X, Miss Charlene.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, the young people. It did my heart so good to watch them do they stroll to the poll, all the colleges. I mean, come on, y'all. And then you listen to people like, what's his name? Killer Mike. The hell he talking about? And he has a platform. And he out there speaking stupidness. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't know why it's so hard. I think it's because they hate black women. I really do. That's all I'm saying. Come up with, because they didn't do none of this to Obama. They didn't wreck him over the coals like they doing her. They didn't. I mean, they didn't do it to no other vice president, like you said. had they messed with. But all of a sudden, she been in office 4 years and they did nothing. Bitch, she can't do nothing. She ain't the president. That's what she running for. Are you stupid? And then the little smart mouth man that was up here being smart, I didn't appreciate him talking to y'all like that. You know I didn't, go like I'm messing my babies. He was very disrespectful, and I did not like it. And if you'd have brought me up when he was here, he might have got a good old-fashioned cussing out.
You know what, Miss Shirley? I think a lot of them that came up here had that same type of attitude, that same type of energy. And it wasn't even conducive to actually engaging in conversation. It ultimately, they came up here posturing as though, yeah, you know, I have the right answer. I'm going to teach you all why you're wrong. And that's never going to be an effective approach to, you know, engaging with someone and understanding where they're coming from. And it's so frustrating.
It is frustrating. And why do you think just because you believe in God that you had a right to tell me what I should do with my body, my household, my anything? Mind your business. I mind mine. When I was in the church, I used to have a saying, I don't mind God's business. But if I can't mind God's business, then you sure can't mind mine. Let me do what's best for me and mine. You worry about you and yours. And we all get along.
We love you so much, Miss Shirley.
Oh, sure. I too, you know I do. I just, like I said, I can't do it again. I work myself to death. Y'all don't understand. I work, and I mean, when I work, let me tell you something. I would drive the school bus, get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, drive the school bus, do my route, park my bus for my afternoon, get off and go clean 3 houses, come back to my bus, get back on my bus, drive for the afternoon, come home, go to Walmart and work all night. My body, it broke down. And I can't do it no more. And I shouldn't have to be afraid at this stage of my life that I'm gonna have to go to one of them old folk home where they don't even change you when you piss on yourself.
Look you out, huh?
Miss Charlie.
I'm sorry.
Miss Charlie.
But I'm be quiet and let somebody else talk. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I'm a mute.
You're okay. Edgar, I don't know if I've heard
Yes, I'm a believer. I'm 68, and I'm from the baby boom. Okay.
Have you voted, or are you planning to?
No, I plan on voting next week. No,
okay.
I'm in Philly, so I'll be voting next week.
Okay.
Man, I love Miss Charlene. She was fantastic. I love your platform too. But I just want to say one thing. And no, Trump, no, he's not the man. I was around in the 60s and 70s. I served in Nam when he was not renting to people of color, and he was doing a whole lot of things. So it's a lot of racism there. The other thing is this: we need to just keep our vice president in prayer. That's our spiritual duty. Our civic duty is to get out here and go vote. You know, and as far as people demonizing her, well, I just got one thing to say. I mean, the Lord already showed us how to identify our friends from our enemies, which is in the book of Galatians, when you start talking about the fruits of the Spirit. And I don't see Donald Trump or anyone that's running with him possessing these fruits, which is love, peace. And one thing the VP always talks about is joy, kindness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. The other thing is render unto Caesar that which is Caesar, and unto God which is God. Satan is the father of lies. So how is it so difficult? And this is my question: how is it so difficult for people to be able to distinguish that which is of God and that which is of the devil? I don't understand the reasoning. Because the word gives us how we can differentiate. I got it. Between the two.
I'm not sure that anybody on this panel is going to be able to answer a question for you, because you do know we're not believers, Mr. Edgar, right?
I can.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Becca. I didn't mean to.
No, it's not that, because I grew up, my dad was a pastor, so I have 2 brothers who were pastors. And honestly, a lot of it becomes, and I've spoken to a few pastors about the same thing, they believe in separating the two, right? Because I believe, I think it was Peter's to the church where they were appeasing to certain people. I'm trying to remember the chapter in the Bible that they were speaking on, right? So the problem is a lot of them kind of like misinterpret the Bible, so to say, not understanding the simpleness of it, right? They will tell you that, well, yeah, remember, Jesus told them not to listen to these people, or not to, Peter said, don't do this, right? Don't follow these people. Don't have them around you. And they take those and forget the fact that Jesus said, love your neighbor, right? They take those and said, forget the fact that Jesus said, preach my word, don't judge, right? And that's what the compare and contrast is like. They take that more to heart than they forget about the fact that Jesus said, turn the other cheek and let me fight, and let God fight your battles, right? And that's where we're having the disconnect, that they don't understand. They're more likely to say, well, I don't want a person who is I'm trying to think of the politically correct words to use, because, homosexual, right? I don't want them in my church as part of my congregation, right? Because now they're going to say, I have to marry them, right? And those are the response that I get a lot from the pastors that I've spoken to. I don't want them as part of my congregation because of that reason. And usually my pushback is, how can they hear the word if you don't want them part of your congregation?
Not only
How
that,
can you teach them God's word if they can't come to your church?
Not only that, we don't have a heaven or hell to put anybody in. Okay, the God that I serve is the God of love, and He says, "Come as you are." So that's the way I perceive it. All right, and as far as what you do with your life while you're on this earth, because it is a short span, you'll be judged on that at a later point in time. I'm not going to sit up here and try to judge you because you might be into men or women, into women, whatever. That's your choice. That is your choice.
Well, I think the harm there is assuming that these are choices that people are making, right? As a bisexual woman myself, it's not my choice to be bisexual. I'm just bisexual. I was born this way, and people who are, whatever the case is, the LGBTQIA plus across the spectrum, it's not a choice. And I think it's dangerous to be able, I think it's dangerous when we start saying things like, oh, this is your choice and this is what they choose. And because it's not about that. And it goes back to just accepting people for who they are and allowing people to live within, it's human rights, right? Regardless of how one feels about it. It's human rights.
Okay, Christina, a lot of the pushback that I get from that answer, right, is like, well, I can't change the color of my skin, but I can change my mentality. So how would you answer that when they tell you that?
When who tells me what?
What mentality?
So the pushback that I get with the Christians is this. Well, I can't change what you can't change is the color of your skin, right? But I can change my mentality. And they're saying that that's the difference. Like that they can't.
You say I can change my mentality as far as
who you're attracted to?
Whether you're bi or not. Those are the pushbacks that I get.
That's absolute fuckery and foolishness. And I don't know. Yeah, that's just
tell them to try to change it. For like a half hour. Just be LGBT for a half hour.
Yeah.
See if you can do that. Try to change it.
Because if it's a choice, then you can choose. I won't assume your orientation, but if it's a choice, you can choose to be attracted to me.
We'll set a kitchen timer.
First of all,
so
you are very beautiful, Miss Christina. No, but these are conversations that I'm having all the time. Like you guys have to understand.
It's wild work. Because we live in a world that's full of bigots.
Yeah, and that's the pushback that I get.
Yeah.
Huh?
I sorry, I didn't mean to jump in there. I thought you were.
No, God no. Absolutely not. It's just that I spend a lot of time having the conversation. Being a pastor's daughter, it kind of like almost makes it crazy to hear the things that you hear when you're in those rooms, right? It's insane. The mentality that they have, it's very much. I mean, again, a lot of them are coming, like I go, a lot of them are coming around. This is why you have a lot of Hispanics and Haitians and that are supporting him, because they're feeling like, oh, they're being told that, oh, well, they're allowing the gays to get married. The LGBTQ are getting married. And I'm like, and then one of the talks that I use a lot is that I get questions. My husband asked me this question maybe like 2 weeks ago. And he asked me about how on TV now we see a lot of more LGBTQI people on television. And my response to him was, it's not that they didn't exist. It was that they weren't represented, right? And to say that, to kind of like back that up, I reminded him of, I'm from Florida. I grew up in Florida, South Florida, where we had a big over amount number of Black women that came back positive with the package, right? Back in the early, in the 2000s, that were married women. And when it came out, it was a lot of women that were married to men that were on the DL, right? And I tried to have that conversation with him to explain, hey, when we're not letting these people be able to be part of our society because of who they choose to love, and tell them that they're shunned because of who they choose to love, now you're hurting a whole nother community by not allowing them to be free to be who they are. So now they have to be who they are on the DL. And now we, in turn, are hurting someone else. I don't know, maybe somebody could help me with that.
Well, you know what? I understand exactly what you're saying, but maybe I used the wrong word choice, but I have no, I accept everybody for who they are. And just put it that way. You can love whoever you want to love. It's fine with me.
Yeah, I think there's.
Trying to understand. Beg pardon?
Oh, sorry. I did want to, because the thing I wanted to talk about was what you said, and
Okay.
I think just very briefly, right? You're saying like I won't judge people, right? You know, you live how you live, whether you meant choice or not. It's not all that important for my topic, but you said, you know, I don't judge them. You know, you're not God, right? But then in there is kind of the tacit implication and agreement that there will be some kind of judgment. It's just not going to be done by you here on earth.
No, it's not going to be done by me, no.
Right, but it's going to be done by somebody.
If you believe in God, it'll be done by God later on.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. There will be some kind of judgment for them being LGBT.
There will be a judgment for everything that everyone has done, not just LGBTQ, for everything.
Right, every sin.
There you go.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Not a sin. Right. So the fact that, like, because like you said, it's like, you know, you that's the whole thing, is like, this is somebody's being, right? This is who they are.
Right.
And if you believe that who a person is can be a sin, like that's a real problem for me.
Oh, I'm not saying they are a sin. I'm not judging them.
But you are under this faith that says that they will be judged for that at some point.
I believe that will happen.
Right.
We all will. All of us will be.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Is lying a sin?
Yes. Yes, lying is a sin.
Yeah.
According to the Bible, if you want to go by
What's
the
the
Bible.
difference between lying and unaliving someone, as far as in the eyes of God?
You know what? Ain't no big sin, ain't no little sin. That's what I believe when I was there. Sin is sin.
So that means that if we, before, you know, God, I know Jesus said, take the piece of wood out of your eyes before you come take the little piece of splinter out of theirs, right?
Exactly.
So why are we worried about somebody else? Why are we worried about somebody's splinter when we got wood in our eyes, right?
That's the whole thing, baby. That's the whole thing.
Hold on, because here's, and I don't know, this is another thing that kind of turned me off from Christianity, but it's not a splinter. Like,
no, I'm saying, no, I'm not saying it's a sin. I'm not saying it's a sin. I'm just trying to invalidate their sin question, their sin conversation.
Yeah.
Because they're saying it's a sin, and I address their sin conversation, because Jesus said, if you did a big sin or a little sin, there's no such thing.
every sin is a sin regardless of whatever. So why are we talking about sin?
He actually does make a difference in sin. For the most part, all sins are sins. There's no bigger sin than the other, but there are two things that is like no chance of you coming back from, and that's blasphemy and disowning him in public, like basically saying that he is not real. Those are the two sins in the Bible that he verbalizes are sins that you can't come back from. Everything else,
I'm cooked.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say that because I didn't want the misinformation to be that it wasn't a scale, because it is a scale. But I think that if you're not a believer in, Christianity or whatever, if you're not a believer, then those words, one, shouldn't matter, and then two, the book doesn't apply to your life because you don't follow it. But
Well,
if people,
hold on, Danisha, the reason
Y'all don't follow it either.
The reason why the words do matter is because we live in a world with people who are bigoted and they do hateful and evil things to people based off of the words, based off of the text. So if they believe that it matters, I am always going to be myself, and other card-carrying members of the LGBTQIA+ community are always going to be in harm's way. So the words do matter.
Well, I believe that I believe that you have evil people that use things for wrong intentions, and they go and they put out evil in the world. I don't think that you can just pin all Christians as these evil people.
I don't pin all Christians
because of one person or this. Like, God gives everybody the option to choose. So if you want to be evil and you want to harm people, that is on you. That doesn't justify or penalize me for who I am and the way I walk with my journey with Christ. I'm not going to go out there and hurt anyone. I'm not going to advocate for it either. I'm not going to.
Danisha, how do you, like, that's you. And I'm not saying I don't think anyone's saying that all Christians are evil, but there are people that call themselves Christians that do what you would consider to be evil shit.
So if they call themselves Christians, but they're not doing things of Christian belief, they're not Christians. They're imposters.
But you know what?
You also can't qualify them.
But that's an imposter. That's what
you can't qualify them.
But you
It's
just
not your
said
place,
that. You just
Danisha.
said that a person who calls themselves a Christian is out here doing things that is not of Christian beliefs.
I said
that's
evil.
not a Christian.
I didn't say not of Christian beliefs. I said they're out here doing evil shit. And you can't disqualify them because they're not acting like you. Because oftentimes a lot of what they're behaving like actually lines up with the text.
But
So
what
hold on one second. They would be considered to be acting more Christian or more true to the religion than you are.
So where at in the Bible does the Bible tell someone to go and kill someone because they're gay?
I didn't.
Leviticus
I didn't say that.
18:22.
Because I guess where I'm coming from.
Wait, you asked
and then
a
I'll
question.
mute.
You asked a question. Leviticus 18:22.
Leviticus 18:22 says.
Or Deuteronomy.
I'm sorry, what?
It might be Deuteronomy, but it's definitely 18:22.
Hold on one second.
So if it's not in Leviticus, then
no, it is.
Can we take a quick?
I think it's Deuteronomy.
And while you looking that up, I just want to say, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I just want to make sure because I don't think we fully had qualified Denisha. Are you over the age of 21, Denisha?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and are you?
Gotta find it.
Okay, and clearly Christian, and
yes,
are you voting in this election?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to double check.
And this is the problem that we're having. It's when you have a group of people who take this, who use this Bible to legislate their agenda towards other people. That's wrong. Ain't nothing right about that.
Well, respond to that.
Sorry, 2013 Leviticus.
If I could just respond to that. I would be disingenuous if I got on this panel and acted as if people did not use religion as a mean to do harm to other people. That would be disingenuous of me to do that. They have used it to commit harm against the African American community. The Islamic community have done it. Multiple groups of people have been harmed at the hands of people saying that this is what religion has told them. But
Okay,
as
let me
I
wait 1 second, because I don't want to move too far away from the point that you made. You asked where it says it in the Bible. Leviticus 20:13 says, "If a man has sexual relations with a man as one does with a woman, both of them have done what is detestable. They are to be put to death. Their blood will be on their own heads."
So that's basically saying when they go to get judged, that they're going to hell.
They are to be put to death.
Put to death by who?
By their
It
community.
doesn't say.
Community.
But it doesn't say. But this is what I'm saying. You're saying that it's saying for them to be put to death, but it doesn't say by who. So
By
you're
the
just
community.
insinuating that it's saying that us as human beings
Denisha,
can
I
go
don't
and
think
put
you
someone to
understand
death.
the
Why would he tell us to do that?
I feel like you're being disrespectful because it says to you. Who asked?
Wait, what do you
asked
mean?
why it would be who? Hold on. I'm sorry. It's too much happening at one time. Did you just ask why would it say to do that?
No, I asked. What you just read did not identify a specific person or group of people to go and do
It doesn't say. It doesn't
so who
say
is he
John
telling
or
to do it?
Bartholomew, but it would be more than likely the elders of the town, which is how every other unaliving was supposed to be carried out, from the stoning of the children who dishonored their mother and their father to the people caught in adultery. They were to be stoned as well.
And what
Hey,
book are you
Christina,
reading from?
Christina,
What
just
book are you reading from?
Hang on 1 second. Christina, just read 2 verses later.
Wait, what?
The 2 verses. Go, keep going. Keep going.
2015.
What book are we reading? I'm sorry.
Leviticus.
Leviticus 20 and where was I at? 13, 14, 15. Oh my gosh. Wow. I'm just going to read 13, 14, and 15 for y'all. Okay. If a man has sexual relations with a man and goes, as one does with a woman, both of them have done what is detestable. They are to be put to death. Their blood will be on their own heads. If a man marries both a woman and her mother, it is wicked. Both he and they must be burned in the fire, so that no wickedness will be among you. If a man has sexual relations with an animal, he is to be put to death, and you must kill the animal. If a woman,
Yes, all coming from the Old Testament. Am I correct?
You believe in just the New Testament?
No, I believe in both.
Okay.
And I personally believe that if you actually understood the Bible, you would understand why we are no longer under the Old Testament.
No, that's not what Jesus says in Mark.
Jesus said
in the Old Testament, that is very
Denisha,
much
that's not
was
what Jesus says in Mark 1:7. Jesus says when he's talking to the Pharisees, and the Pharisees ask him why his disciples don't wash their hands.
I'm sorry, what verse are you coming from, Lord Tissa?
Mark 7:17. This is in your beloved New Testament. They ask him, why don't his disciples wash their hands? And he says, why are you worrying about my disciples washing their hands when you don't kill your children when they are disrespectful to their parents? You make my Father's law null and void. So Christians really love to talk about, no, that's not the Old Testament, but Jesus said, when you don't follow my Father's laws, you make them null and void. You nullify my Father's laws. That is what he says here. He says, let me go to let's see. You abandon the commandment of God and hold to human tradition. Then he said to them, you have a fine way of rejecting the commandment of God in order to keep your tradition. For Moses said, honor your father and mother, and whoever speaks evil of father or mother must surely die. Right? But you say that if anyone tells father or mother, whatever support you might have had from me is Corbin,
but I
you no
agree
longer
with
permit
all of
doing
that.
anything for a father or mother, thus nullifying the word of God. So I'm trying to figure out why Christians try to make this delineation between the Old and New Testament when your Jesus doesn't. Your Jesus
I think it's important to understand literature. And I think
No,
it's important.
ma'am, I understand literature. Listen.
Just let me finish because I allowed you to finish. Just let me
No, you
finish really
didn't. You
quick.
actually interrupted me. I wasn't finished.
Okay, so
I'm trying to figure out why Christians want to delineate the Old and New Testament when Jesus does not delineate the Old and New Testament, right? He does.
But he actually does.
He says that
I would advise you to read more into the Bible.
Why do you keep interrupting me?
Because
Why do you keep interrupting me?
Rhetorical question. Don't answer it.
Yeah, don't answer it. You're going to answer it. Don't answer it. You because when y'all do that, it creates chaos in my mind. So please let Lord finish what she was going to say completely, and then she will listen.
When Jesus says multiple times in this book, do what the Pharisees teach you and not what they do, because they don't follow my Father's law. They don't follow my Father's law. Jesus wants you to follow his Father's law. So I don't understand why Christians are so quick to delineate the New Testament from the Old Testament when Jesus says, even up until he ascends to heaven, that you should follow his Father's law.
Okay, can I speak now, or does someone else want to say something?
Go ahead.
Okay, so when you look at the Old Testament is there to show us what life was when we were living under the law. If you continue to read in your New Testament, it speaks about what the law showed us and what the law showed God. It showed us just how sinful we were. So if we were still technically living under the Old Testament, we would all be done. If we're just going to be real, because you read from Leviticus about how people had to be taken out and killed and things like that because of certain sins. If you read in Deuteronomy, it talks about women who sleep outside of marriage, who have children out of wedlock. But what I'm saying is,
Tanisha, listen really quickly, because you're going back to the Old Testament, and I get it, but did you hear the scriptures that Lord's read from the New Testament?
No, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna read those scriptures myself before I take the advice from someone who doesn't even believe in it.
She's not giving you advice.
That's why I haven't really acknowledged that, because I would like to see it for myself.
Hold on one second.
I didn't give you
if you're not
advice.
going to acknowledge what she said to you or what she read to you, then you can't continue to keep arguing the same point, because we've already.
Well, I'm not arguing with her. I was responding to something that you said because I didn't get a chance to say anything. So that's why I went back.
I didn't say you were arguing with her. You can't continue to argue the same point if we've already told you that the Old Testament was reinforced in the New Testament by Jesus when he said, do everything that they're telling you to do, but don't do as they do, because they are basically hypocrites and they don't keep the law. They find ways around it, right? So,
Exactly.
Okay.
Denisha,
So what are you saying?
What I'm saying is you're arguing the point of that there are rules and procedures that you have to follow. If you call yourself a Christian,
that's not the point
there
I'm
is
arguing.
a certain, if you're not a Christian,
is that
okay, so now she's cutting me off.
No. My question was clear and you didn't. My question was clear and you didn't answer it.
I wasn't speaking. I was speaking to the host about what she said.
Do Christians like but you said
but
something,
I would like to finish my.
You said something, so I think I have to point it out. Christians
I was speaking to the
like
host.
to eschew the old. If you only want to speak to the host, then you can drop. Because what are you even talking about?
I think
I want to respond to you. It's just I had to go back because I wasn't allowed to respond.
No, I can help clear things up. I'm asking you a question, right? The question is, why do you and other Christians that I've heard eschew the Old Testament when Jesus does not?
Do we do what?
Put aside. Disregard.
ESCHEW. Put aside.
I don't put aside the Old Testament.
You just did.
No, I didn't. I said that we don't live under the Old Testament. That means that we're not punished the same way we were punished under the Old Testament.
Have heaven and
That's
earth
why
passed away?
when you don't have the Holy Spirit in you, you can't decipher
Hey,
the
Denisha,
word.
Denisha,
You
have
get
heaven and earth passed
confused.
away?
It says that in the Bible too.
Have heaven and earth passed away? Just a very simple question. Have heaven and earth passed away?
No.
Right. So then, according to Jesus, we're still under the old law. If you want to start every statement you make with "fuck what Jesus said," just so we're clear, that's fine. But you're not doing that. You're trying to say that you follow Christian principles, but you don't. This is Paul revisionism.
You don't know me.
I know your words. I know
But
what
you
you're
don't
saying
know
up here,
me.
and it doesn't matter. You're
There you go,
disregarding what
judging.
Jesus said. I'm not judging
The very
anything.
thing you just said
I'm noticing
Christians
what you're
do to
doing.
you, you're doing
I'm
to
not
me.
what
Let him
judgment have I
finish.
made?
You made it. You made a claim.
What
that
judgment have I made?
You just said that I'm out here.
Thank you. Go ahead. What? Answer his question. Let unmute Danisha so you can. Thank you so much for the gift, Sean. I appreciate it. What gift?
What judgment did I make?
What
Of you?
judgment? That's a what gift. I'm sorry. Oh, it's late. in the day.
Words don't always work,
Words.
host.
Whatever. What are words?
Okay. I don't-
Danisha, you got to unmute yourself. Press. You may have to press on your profile picture and then press the microphone.
Dude, I said that was a delayed mute.
Press on your profile picture and then press the microphone.
I don't know what's going on with my.
What you need to do is swipe out of the app, go to a different app, and come back in. The echo will go away.
Yeah. Swipe out of the app, go to a different app, and then swipe back into the app. Don't leave, like
Don't
don't
close it
close
completely.
the app. Just swipe out of it and come back in. That'll get rid of the echo for you. All right, now unmute so we can see if your echo's gone. All right, there you go.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what happened with my screen because it's frozen
TikTok
right now
gets
too.
weird. Yeah, that happened to me earlier,
Okay,
but I actually got dropped.
you just told me that you're basing an assessment off of me on my words.
How did
So
I
that's a
assess you?
judgment, but you've never
what
met me.
assessment
You don't.
did I make of you?
And then you said that I live by a certain way or I don't live a certain way, but you don't know me personally. You don't know how I live my
I didn't
life.
tell you how you live.
You did.
No, I didn't. I said you claim to be going by Christ's principles, but you're disregarding what he actually said.
Right, there you go. That's not what I'm doing at all.
That's not a judgment of you. That's just assessing. That's pointing out what you're doing. That's not a judgment.
But that's your
I didn't say you're
opinion.
bad for doing it. I said that's what you're doing.
But that's an opinion, right?
No, it's an assessment of the facts.
Can I chime in real quickly?
Okay. Well, I don't want
Yeah,
to keep going back and forth on semantics.
I think the piece that's missing here, Denisha, is what Twin was saying is that what you're quoting was Paul, not Jesus. So his point was that you are a Christian, which means you're a follower of Christ. But the things that Christ said in the Bible are not the things that you were just recounting a second ago. So it wasn't a judgment of you. It was an observation that the words that you're referring to or the laws that you're referring to came from Paul, not from Jesus. So it wasn't really a judgment. Plus, I mean, judgment carries a connotation of some sort of punishment. So I've never understood why that was always a go-to for a lot of believers too. Because I can't judge you if I have an opinion about what you're doing. That's not a judgment.
Well, I mean, Christians can have that same stance too, though.
Sure,
Because if
and I think
our
you guys
Bible that we follow tells us one thing, and this is what we dedicate our lives to, and we're around things that may be different from what our Bible tells us, right? We have a right to also make an assessment on that too, just like you all have a right to make an assessment on what I'm saying. So Christians are penalized for doing the very thing that you all just did.
But I think
And why is that?
Can I ask a question real quick?
Can I say?
Ms. Shirley? Okay, go ahead.
That's what I wanted to ask.
I just want to say, Denisha, since you've been in here, you said, well, that's why you have to understand. You have to read the word. That's why you have to have the Holy. No, I'm saying that was a judgment you was making on the other people that they have not done that. And
no, I didn't say that. I didn't say them directly.
I didn't say, but the way you said it was, and you know what I'm talking about.
I don't actually.
Okay, well, when you make that little snide remark about, well, see, that's why you have to read the word, and that's why you have to understand it, as to say the other people in here are not. And I just simply want to say, baby, I guarantee you, that these people in this live that you're speaking with, they know this Bible backwards and forward. They study it. Not only the Bible, they study outside sources. They study peer reviews on this thing. So I promise you, they understand this Bible and they know this Bible.
I don't think I ever said anything that insinuated that they don't know the Bible, or I don't think I've ever said anything that insinuated that.
Well, you did say that
you
that's
did
why we have
disregard
to have
what
an
Lois was
understanding
saying
of
because
the
of that.
scripture.
Well, that's what the Bible says.
And also
The Bible tells us.
Also saying that you're not an Israelite. So why is you going all around this stuff? It was never
I'm
to you in
sorry.
the first place.
I'm sorry. It was more than one.
No, but also this is the thing. Your Bible calls on you not to judge. I don't believe in God. I can judge all I want. It's your Bible that tells you not to judge, not me. I could judge whoever I want.
Who am I judging?
And really, you asked, why is it good for us and not for you? Because your God tells you not to do it. That's
You talking about something I said earlier?
No, about judging, yes. But also, Miss Charlene says something just
She's
now.
not an Israelite, so I don't understand what she's going through all these changes for anyway. Because you keep talking about, well, we couldn't do the law. Well, the law wasn't for we. The law was for a certain amount of people, a certain group of people, and so was the New Testament. Jesus said, "I came for the lost sheep of Israel, and unless you are one of them, you blowing poo poo out your boo boo."
So he didn't mention Gentiles in that, Miss Charlene.
He said, "I came."
Okay, so we misquoting the Bible now.
Oh no, boo.
He said, "I came for the
So
lost
I'm
sheep
gonna
of
have
Israel."
to disconnect with that. I don't engage in that.
Yeah, I run away too.
Yeah,
I run away
Yes,
too.
you could. But also, I wanted to say, right?
Okay.
The only way,
we're misquoting.
the only way for us to know we are on a platform where all we hear are our voices. I hate when people say you are not supposed to judge others, because that's a lie. We make judgments about people all the time. The only way I can judge anything about Fee is what she's telling me. I've never met her. I've never seen her. She could be standing right next to me. I wouldn't know. I mean, I've seen her face, but like in person, right? So the only way for me to judge maybe what kind of person she is by the things she says. I don't like that. You should not judge things, because we make judgments all the time. You make judgments about where to park if you're a woman. You make judgments about where to park when it's late. We make judgments about, I don't know if I'm gonna go that way. I'm gonna go another way because they not. We make judgments about whose car we're getting in. People make judgments all the time. I cannot stand.
You know what I can't stand? I can't stand for somebody to piss on my leg and tell me it's raining.
Yes,
That girl
when they
no
say,
good time.
well, you're
Well,
not
she was
supposed to judge.
insinuating that y'all didn't know the word. She was.
Yes, we make judgments every day. Everybody makes judgments. Your boss, people make judgments about whether they're going to hire you. People make judgments every day. I hate when people say that. Well, we're not supposed to judge. Well, how do you get things done? How do you go to the grocery store and pick up two different things and you judge which one to get based on how much it costs, based on how much you need?
And they act like judging is only negative. You still judge things in a positive way. You're still judging.
She was judging when she kept talking about y'all. If she knew the word, boo boo. Ain't nobody crazy up in here now. Don't play. You know exactly what you was doing. You was trying to say that the people in here did not know what they was talking about because they didn't know the word, and you do, and you was wrong as all get out.
I make judgments every day. Like I have to judge whether I'm going to use 1st or 2nd Corinthian leather on my my shorts. Wait a minute. Speaking of that, were you guys in Joel Reed's Bible live a couple of nights ago?
Not if I didn't
I was.
that.
I don't know what part.
When he said, I'm sick of it. You know how he gets mad, but not really mad. He's like, I'm sick of it. There's no Doug. There's no. Red Sea Scrolls. There's no Corinthian leather. I'm sick of it all. It was hilarious. Yes, the short sets, B.A.A.S.H. He was like, we don't even want pretend religion. There's no Doug. There's no Red Sea Scrolls. There's no Corinthian leather.
There's none of it.
I'm sorry, but Ricardo Montalban told me there is Corinthian leather.
He said, and
It's
100%
rich, fine.
Corinthian. It's rich, fine, and that's what your short sets are going to be made out of. Florida with short sets is crazy, but that's what we're going to have them.
It is crazy. But you know what? Like, even what Danisha was saying right before she left about the judgment thing, it's kind of interesting that that tends to be the go-to for a lot of believers, because I can see them seeing that, because ultimately judgment is determining what's right or wrong. And that's usually when they bring it up, right? Like in terms of determining if something is good or if something is bad. So by saying, you know, only God can judge, they've ultimately abdicated their ability to determine what's right or wrong, which is what we talk about on these lives all the time, where, you know, this religion leads you to believe that you can't trust in your own observation skills or your ability to assess whether something has a good outcome for yourself and others or not. And they just put that at the feet of God. And that's part of the reason why I think we talk in circles so many times when we engage in these conversations, and it gets to be so frustrating.
Well, part of that is because they don't really understand.
Go ahead, Fee.
Oh, I was done. I had muted up.
Let me see. I have already qualified everybody else. Awesome. Can you come off mute for me? Are you a well, you sound over 21. Are you a Christian believer in the God of the Christian Bible? If so, have you or do you intend to vote in the upcoming general election? Let me send an invite.
Oh, invite sent right as they unmuted. I hate when that happens.
Okay.
There you go. Are you a Christian believer in the God of the Christian Bible?
I am a Christian, yes.
Okay. Have you voted or do you intend to vote in the upcoming general election?
I have voted. I voted for Kamala.
Okay. Nice. All right. Cool.
I'm just going to jump in real quick and give a verbal warning. Our friend Dudette in the comments is warning y'all to get to that 250 mark, or we're going to be turning off the comments. Y'all already know what it is. Keep tapping. If you can send, share the live. If you can share any gifts to Miss Christina or anyone on the panel, we appreciate you.
Shout out to the panel.
Yes. And I do want to recognize that Becca has patiently been waiting. She's had her hand up in the comments.
Oh, Becca. Sometimes you gotta come up and say, excuse me.
What's that, Christina?
Huh? Who said my name?
Sorry.
No,
Awesome.
my wife was responding to your call for like she's gonna double tap. She's good.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Team effort.
Becca, go ahead and come off mute for me. What did you want to say?
Hey guys, you know what's crazy? I was gonna respond to her because I kind of understood where she was coming from, but I was like, let me leave it alone.
If you can bring 30 to what you think she was saying, that's fine too.
No, it because I think you guys are right. You guys already addressed it. You guys are right. It is a misconception that a lot of Christians do take. Being Christian myself, and again, I'm gonna push back on all of it. People always forget that. My goal is to say this. My journey is with Jesus and Jesus alone. I don't look at the person to my right or to my left, whether or not their journey with Jesus. It's not, I don't judge. I mean, I don't know their relationship with Jesus. That's not for me to say. That is why I say I don't judge. But to say that, I was going to bring up to her that when she thought about the Bible, when Jesus said, the lady that committed adultery and they brought her to Jesus, right? And they asked, and I think that's what she was trying to say, like that part of it, that Jesus saying like, we're not supposed to like do that part. And I think that's where she was going with it. I'm not sure. But to say, we have to all say to ourselves, like, you know what? You don't know this person's road with Jesus. You don't know that person's road with Jesus. We just have to, Jesus told us to just love one another, right?
He told us to just, take care of one another. That's what he told us to do. If we take anything away from the Bible, that's what I take away from it. And what I say to other Christians is, what do we do with that commitment when we're telling people that they shouldn't be who they are, that they're not allowed to be who they are because of how they make us feel, right? Because then now we're telling Jesus that he's wrong in all the things that he did, right? We're telling God that he's wrong in the person that he put on this earth, right? And that's what they kind of like misconstrued if just based on what I was listening to, what she was saying. But it was so amazing. I love the fact that you guys are having this discussion. I guess I don't know.
And normally, I'm gonna be honest with you, when I have topics like this, I don't let people monologue too long. But I think that this today's conversation, being that I know that there are far more Christians in this live today than are in here most days. And I know sometimes I'm just talking to each other, and I don't have a problem with that today. So,
Christina, can I ask Becca a quick question? Becca, you do know that we're not Christian, right?
It's fine.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure you were aware because I felt like, and that's perfectly fine. I enjoy these conversations as well, especially when we don't have to land at the same conclusion, but I think having civil discourse is just the goal. So for Christians, that's just like me. I just want to make sure. Yeah, I know, right?
No. I most definitely can see believe you me. I definitely hear it. I'm not blind or deaf or stupid. I'm just saying, but you guys know the word. You guys understand it. You guys are pushing back on it. And that's amazing. And that's what we need more of, is to push back on it and make sure people understand the word. Maybe you'll make them better Christians. That's my goal.
Right. And just for clarity, I didn't think you didn't know it. I wasn't insinuating that at all. I just know a couple of other people came in earlier and had that misconception. I just wanted to make sure that's all.
Yeah. I am going to wrap this up in about 10 minutes. My kiddos are home, and y'all know I'm like hanging out with them. If there are any other Christians, believer in the God of the Christian Bible, that want to come up and engage, I know we got awesome Tenor on the panel, so we're going to go ahead and engage with him and his wife. And but if someone else wants to come up, you're more than welcome to do so. Again, shout out to all the wonderful moderators that are here supporting and really kind of helping to keep the live, the comments and stuff in order. And thanks to the co-hosts on the panel as well. I appreciate all of you and the guests that came up. I say it all the time, these conversations are a little bit tricky. So I just really appreciate everybody for taking the time today to come up and have these conversations with us.
Yeah, I just the reason I wanted to come up because I wanted to point out to Janisha before she left. She gives you the Matthew 7:1, judge and justly be judged, but she did go on to read, because right after that it says, "For by the measure that you judge others, you shall be judged." Now, she's the one who threw it out there. Well, you need an understanding of the word, blah blah blah. And then when she was judged by that standard, she came up short.
I mean,
she put it out there herself, and then she couldn't measure up to the standard she was trying to say other people don't meet. So
well, you can imagine our surprise.
Shock and all. Shock and all.
I as a Christian and as a minister, I find that it is Christians, people who profess to be Christians, who are the most ignorant of what God requires, as stated in Scripture. I know a great many non-Christians, whether they be atheists, pagans, Muslims, Jews, etc., who, when stood up next to are so much more advanced in their spirituality or lack thereof to where these Christians are just they shouldn't even be in the conversation with them, because number one, they can't even respect the fact that everybody's not a Christian. So
B.A.A.S.H, come up really quick. I don't know if B.A.A.S.H left already. B.A.A.S.H, come up really fast. I don't know if he's still here. Sorry, guys. Hold on 1 second for me. Ronnie, why you ask me that? Sorry, my sister talking to me in the yeah, listen. I grew up with that girl. She's been great your whole life. No kidding.
I was like, why was she asking you that question?
I was wondering why she asked me too. I'm in the comment section like, who said what? What are y'all talking about? Huh? Anyway. I'd like to see B.A.A.S.H, Sebastian. I don't know if you guys have all been here since when Sebastian was on panel, but he is going live, which is really cool because I'm about to end mine. So I love giving the viewers somewhere to go.
He must have already started because I got the share from Mama B.A.A.S.H.
Mama B.A.A.S.H shared it. He's live. Okay, so I want to see what account he's on though. Well, he's probably on the Sebastian Cole account. Let me just.
I just put his name in the comments for everyone. I'm going to assume that because he's been on that one all day.
I don't see it though.
Yeah, it's not showing that he's live.
I don't know what she shared.
Maybe he's getting ready to go live. Maybe that's what she's saying.
Yeah, or maybe it like went up and down. Maybe he's had to restart or something.
B.A.A.S.H is
because you could share live from the live, right? You can't really share like ahead of time.
No.
Yeah.
So maybe he had like a false start. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll go Pink Beard is the secondary account, but he's been on his regular account all day so far.
He's not on. He wouldn't be on the.
Yeah, I'm following both too, so I would see one of the two.
Miss Charlene is still here. Yeah.
Huh?
People are saying bring Miss Charlene back. Like you're right there.
Yeah, I am.
Stop suppressing Miss Charlene.
Never.
What I was going to say, Liz, since you told me that I had enough followers, right, to go live.
Yeah, did you check it?
I did, and I have over 500. So
I'm going
to go live.
Yes, you must.
And I already have the name of I have the name of the program I want to do. I want to see what y'all think. I was going to call it Religious Deconstruction Over 60.
Hey, I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay.
Yes. I can still come in there, right?
Yes, of course. Because
we're gonna be in there hanging with you.
I'm gonna need help, y'all. Because I'm not as good at it as you all are, but I'm learning.
We'll be in the audience cheering you along, Miss Charlene.
Absolutely.
I know you will. I had to get me a tablet because I only had my little phone. So I'm trying to get so I can show my face.
Listen, utilize utilize the community. We will make your backgrounds for you, whatever your topic, what you want your topic to be. You want backgrounds like this one, or you want just a simple background. We got you. We're gonna make sure you set.
You just gotta message some of us, and we'll help you out, girl. And if y'all are not already following Miss Charlene,
what was your name for it again?
I'm gonna call it Religious Deconstruction Over 60.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. So
for older people.
Yeah, of course. I'll have something for you.
I want to make y'all proud. I don't want to embarrass y'all, so I'll be calling on you.
Listen, we are already so incredibly proud of you. You are such an amazing pillar in this community, and we love you to life. Always. Hold on.
Exactly. Y'all gonna make me cry. I appreciate that. I'm excited.
You come off.
Hey, Miss Charlene, I wanted to jump up real quick because I just had a suggestion for your live title. Okay. What if you called it Godless Golden Years?
Ooh.
That is good.
I like that.
Right?
I like that. So I can have it. I like
You can have it. You can have it.
You Sandra, I will give you the credit for that. Thank you.
Hey,
What
no, you're
godless
welcome.
golden years.
Godless golden years. It just popped in my head like the
I like
the
that.
stroke
It's
of
much
genius.
better than mine was.
Oh no, yours was good, but it's just like, you know, you got to get you. I like alliteration. You got to get it catchy. You know what I mean?
What about Godless Golden Girl?
God, hey, God. Well, but then you want the men to come in too, but that's cute too.
Yeah. I don't want. I want the men. Yeah, godless gold. I like that.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I had to share that before you ended the live, but it's homework time, so I gotta hop back down, y'all.
Let me hear from Hopper really fast, and then I'm gonna send y'all right on over to B.A.A.S.H. What's up, La Hopper? Hopper, no, she up here.
Hey, what up,
Oh,
Christina?
you know you're up here.
Girl, you know I'm new to this. I have to fumble my way around the buttons. Hello, everybody. Love you, Christina. Thank you for what you're doing. Real quick, did anybody else catch the correlation between the brainwashing of Christianity and Trumpism? Like the making up the excuses. You can point something out to a Christian in the Bible, they'll make up an excuse for it. You can point out something to a Trumper that Trump did or said, and they'll just make up an excuse for it. Say, oh, he didn't do it, he didn't say it, that's not what he meant. Did anybody else catch that?
It's all the same brain activity. It's all the same centers in the brain.
That's so weird. Like, I wonder if he did that on purpose. That is so weird to me.
You're also seeing that same like distancing, like you see longtime Republicans distancing themselves from the MAGA folks, just like you're seeing like reasonable Christians distancing themselves from the fundamentalists. Like it's the same exact thing.
Right. That was so weird. But yeah, I have to jump down to and go to my daughter's volleyball game. But that's all I wanted to say. Love you guys.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Awesome tenor. Thank you so much for being here as well. I appreciate you and your wife for double tapping on that screen. I appreciate y'all. If you haven't followed me, you're still here, hit that follow, and I'll be live again on today's Monday. I'll be live again on Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please consider coming over with me to Sebastian Cole's live. He is another great part of this community. And I don't know what topic he's discussing today, but he always has really, really good topics. And he is also in deconstruction as well. The space is open to both Christians, believers in the God of the Christian Bible, and non-believers. So please come on over and continue to engage in amazing conversation just to expand your thought and expand your conversations amongst yourselves later on over a glass of wine or a cup of coffee in the morning. So let's go raid B.A.A.S.H if you're still here, all right? Christina Raid on Sebastian Cole with the K, if you don't know what it is.